Shields up, Iron Breakers. Welcome to another edition of the Cast. I'm here with FightinCowboy. This is the post-Game Awards show. We're going to be talking about all things announced at the Game Awards with particular emphasis on this little game that me and Cowboy kind of like, right? You know, this little niche indie title that is now getting some kind of like really weird spin-off.
This cool roguelike pop-up? Yeah, there's a lot of those these days.
Exactly. Yeah. A new roguelike was announced at the Game Awards that will be interesting. But yeah. Cowboy, how have you been doing, dude? You doing good?
I'm good, but I notice you don't have any holiday apparel on. This is like the holiday podcast kind of.
I mean, this is what do you call those bad shirts? They're made from a material. The word eludes me. Wool. I mean, it's a wool sweater, kind of.
Here's mine. It says
wishing you a jolly Christmas. Holly jolly Christmas.
Holly jolly Christmas.
I really don't have anything. I mean, the most Christmas.
You didn't read the shirt in full, Rory. Must be the old.
Wishing you a holly jolly Christmas.
Read the red part, Rory.
You a hope. I'm sleep deprived, and you're gonna pull this on me.
You're like, it's just a Christmas shirt. That's what's wrong with the Christmas shirt.
No, wait. I have something that's kind of like Christmas. Hey, look, he's got red on him, all right?
Okay.
He's Santa Claus. It's Elden Ring Santa Claus.
He shoves the spear down to clean out the chimney first. Make sure there's no booby traps.
Exactly. It lights up your fire and everything. It's absolutely perfect.
This was my t-shirt for... We had our first of two Bad Santa holiday parties last night. I have a friend that hosts one, and then we started hosting one. Which, if you've never attended one, it's really fun. It's basically a gift exchange, and everyone that wants to participate brings a gift. Usually you want something that's like naughty or stupid, but also something desirable together.
I'm just curious, do you take children to these parties?
No.
Okay. So you get like a sitter to
yeah, the kids are home with Nana.
Okay.
But so you draw numbers, and then somebody picks a gift, and then the next person that goes can pick a gift, or they can steal the first person's gift. And if a gift is stolen, that person gets to subsequently steal or pick another gift. Gifts can only be stolen a max of like 2 to 3 times, depends on how many people are playing. And then at the very end, the first person who went gets a chance to steal, because they usually end up getting kind of screwed otherwise. Okay. But it's pretty fun. So we came home. The gift we picked up was like a waffle maker, but with some like really nice, like imported Canadian maple syrup. And I was like, okay, I guess. And then at one point, I should say first I stole a gift. It was a big shark onesie and a bottle of Crown Royal.
So wait, you know what the gifts are? These are not like wrapped?
No. So somebody got the shark onesie and the thing of Crown Royal, and then it was our turn. And I was like, I want that shark onesie. So I stole that. The plan is to chase the kids around wearing a shark onesie.
Yeah.
And then somebody stole it back from me. And then my buddy's like, I just want the crown. I'm going to steal the shark onesie. And that was like the second time or the third time it had been stolen. So it got crossed off the list. He picks up the bottle of Crown. He just throws me the onesie. He's like, you can keep this. I was like, yeah, let's go. He's like, I only want the crown. He's like, I don't give a shit about the shark thing.
Oh, cool stuff. Yeah, I haven't done any parties or anything. I've been extremely antisocial because too much stuff going on, man. Too much stuff happening. Yeah. School problems with my kid. He's beating up other kids. It's yeah. Because because
being a bully.
I mean, he was bullied the first time that he was in school, and I kept telling the teachers and shit like, look, all these kids are picking on my kid because he would be coming home bruised and like. With
at that point he's just standing up for himself.
Yeah, and so I basically told my kid, look, if they're not doing anything, then you got to you start kicking and punching, and you only stop until they come and separate you. That's the only time that you stop. Yeah. And apparently, at some point, some parent was complaining to the kids that they were picking up some other kid at the school, and they saw my kid like on top of some other like ground pounding this other kid. And I was like, what the fuck do you want? Like I put my kid on BJJ, dude, on Brazilian
I mean,
Jiu-Jitsu.
that's
Like,
it's just fuck around and find out, dude. Schools never do enough shit about bullying.
They don't.
I remember I had someone trying to like constantly start shit with me in school, and the school was just like, we'll keep an eye on it, and eventually it culminated in like, dude got in my face, and I just fucking headbutted him, broke his nose. We both got expelled.
Yeah.
But after that, the bullying fucking stopped.
Yeah, that's
And I
the
was
thing.
like, you know, like
The problem is that
like
now
either-
he's acting out, and like at the smallest thing, he's gonna just like fucking.
He's just gonna
like
haul off,
apparently there was some kid that kind of just like shoved him, and he just like threw him over his shoulder. I was like, what the fuck? Okay,
So
that's maybe a bit of an exaggeration.
Yeah, self-defense is there. Now he needs to learn self-control.
Exactly.
Appropriate response.
That's what I'm working on now. I'm like,
You
listen,
stepped on
okay.
my shoe, dislocated shoulder, broken collarbone.
Yeah, so I got to be careful about that stuff. But yeah, that's what's been happening. But anyway, Game Awards. Let's talk about all of the awards. Actually, before we even get to the awards, do you know that there's apparently some controversy about one very specific award? I'm not sure if you've heard about this. The Game Changer Award.
I saw a little bit of controversy, but I kind of just disregarded most of it. I try to stay out of gaming controversy these days.
Stay out of that stuff.
It's a lot of the same shit that people are upset about every time, and I'm just tired of hearing about it.
So let me just give you a brief summary, and I haven't looked into this too much, but apparently the guy, which is the guy that's like, oh, I'm helping everybody get jobs. I'm such a likable guy, just helping people and stuff. Apparently that guy works for Tencent. He works in the department of IP acquisition. So he's the one who's buying the companies and getting these people fired. So that's a really weird thing. Again, this is all stuff that I haven't researched too deeply, but I've seen, the LinkedIn and stuff. So it is in his LinkedIn that he works at Tencent in IP acquisition. So it's like, damn, okay, that's a weird one, but yeah.
I mean, I wonder what level he's fully involved though. It's like, I'm sure at a size like Tencent, there's got to be like, is he the one that's making the final call, or is he just like another dude on the round that's like, this company looks like they have value, we should acquire them?
Like I said, I've only given it a cursory glance, so I haven't went too deep into it. But basically, regardless of that, if he's associated with Tencent, I'm not sure that the way that they portrayed him, because they were portraying him kind of like, oh, it's a small little YouTuber building this
I thought, I mean, he said he was like data now. I thought he was like some dude working for like, I don't know, Forbes or something, crunching numbers. And
yeah, exactly. Like, he's crunching numbers,
games.
but
I want to help people.
Crunching numbers, but for Tencent, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, that was the thing. But now let's go over some of these awards. I'm not going to go over the esports and stuff. You probably don't care about any of that stuff either. So we'll start right at most anticipated game. Bro, is this not the biggest? The biggest betrayal.
Let's be honest. There was no question that GTA 6 was going to get it, even though Monster Hunter has come long ways. Obviously it's our most anticipated, but GTA 6, it's the casual game, dude. It just is what it is. It's the same.
The normies
it's
game.
It's the same reason that fucking Call of Duty always sells millions of copies each year, and FIFA and Madden sell millions of copies each year. It's the turn your brain off and just have fun game. So I understand why it got most anticipated, even if it's not something I'm really looking forward to because I don't enjoy those games.
But let's put it like this: does Monster Hunter Wilds deserve it more?
Deserve it?
Yes. Does it deserve it more?
I think if we view it from the perspective of like seeing the growth of a franchise over time, I think Monster Hunter has come from this like small niche thing that not many people played to a behemoth, and that respect should be given what respect is due.
Exactly.
GTA has always been like, I can't wait for more GTA. Dude, the new GTA is gonna be so fun. I can't wait to steal cars and shoot the cops again for the 6th game in a row. Hooray!
Yeah, but
I don't get those games though, man. I don't know. I don't get them.
I don't play
GTA.
I've played GTA 5 for the story. I like GTA 5 for the story, but like the GTA Online and the shark cards and all of that stuff, I'm like, ugh.
It's just I don't particularly think the GTA games have very good gameplay mechanics. Like in terms of like, you know, getting into vehicles, getting out, shooting. Like I actually struggled with Red Dead 2 a lot. I was constantly like accidentally hip firing and shooting people in town. Like they're shooting. Like when I say control, I'm talking about their actual control schemes.
See,
like
this is what
they're
this
not
is what we
intuitive
call
to me.
gun discipline. You should be familiar with that. You live in America.
Yeah, but it I don't know, man. It's just something with the way they have their like their keybinds set up and the way you like, you know, draw a weapon and shoot weapons and aim weapons. It feels just janky to me. It's never.
I can see that. I think that Red Dead definitely feels better than GTA 5, but GTA was always in terms of like aiming and shooting. I agree with you. Yeah. But moving right along, we got best adaptation. I don't have much to say here because the only thing that I watched was Arcane, and I thought Arcane should have won. Did you watch Fallout?
I didn't, and I was also very surprised
That Arcane didn't win?
Yeah, one point I've heard made by some people, which I can kind of understand, is if it was just best show, Arcane would have likely won, but it's best adaptation, and Arcane doesn't really adapt League as much as create new in-universe lore.
Oh, okay.
Because if it was an actual adaptation of League, it would have been a bunch of 20-something-year-old white dudes shouting slurs at each other. You couldn't put that on Netflix. So they did what they did with what they had. I haven't seen Fallout. I've heard good things about Fallout. I've never been the biggest Fallout fan.
Yeah.
So hence I haven't taken the time to even watch it yet. But I mean, Arcane. I thought Arcane was like masterful. Arcane was very, very good. Season 1 was good. I thought season 2 was better by far.
All right. Let's see. Best multiplayer. What did you vote for here?
Helldivers got it. What were the
nominees were Call of Duty, Helldivers, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Tekken 8, and Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2.
I think I voted Warhammer.
Warhammer's really good. Did you play a lot of co-op in that?
Yeah, I did. The co-op was a blast in that.
It was.
But I mean, to be fair, like I spent a lot of time. Like, let me check my Steam. I want to say Helldivers I put a couple hundred hours into at least. I'm gonna look. And Helldivers it was really fun. The only reason I stopped playing really is they started just like kind of getting heavy-handed with nerfs, and it felt like they were overly concerned with balance in a PvE game. And that always kind of takes
balance
the wind out of my sails.
Balance in a PvE game is important, but it is also important to not take too much of the fun away.
Yeah, fun factor. Yeah, I mean, I got all the achievements for Helldivers. I have 125 hours played. Like, I got my fun out of it. Yeah, I had a good time with Helldivers. I enjoyed it. I had a high level. I had everything unlocked, and they just kept being like, "All right, flamethrower nerfed, railgun nerfed. By the way, your mech still doesn't work properly, and if you shoot slightly angled at the ground, you're gonna kill yourself." And it's like, please, I just want to have fun.
I voted for Helldivers 2 because I think that the multiplayer experiences that you got on there were just really, really fun. And it's like Warhammer is also really, really good multiplayer, 100%. But I feel like there's something unique about Helldivers 2, whereas Warhammer's like, it's a really cool, fun co-op thing.
I think it's the fact that you throw down a 50 kilogram bomb and you're like, hope you're out of the way. Not get out of the way. It's I hope you're out of the way
because otherwise you're gonna blow up real nice and toasty.
So that is pretty entertaining. But yeah, I mean, I think it's fine that Helldivers won. I know for a while people were saying it would have been a consideration for Game of the Year, and I think Sony kind of shot those plans out of the air when they
started going down the PSN account route and whatnot. Yeah. The next category here is best sports and racing. I don't know if you've even played any of these. I didn't. So yeah, we don't care about this. FIFA won. I mean, not FIFA. Now it's called FC or whatever. It's probably Europe's fault that one won.
I thought that was the funniest category because they're like best sports or racing. Like this game 2K2, this game 2K5, this game 24K. And I'm like, it's like the same shit every year.
It's
like,
the same slop every year.
It is, dude. It is.
So best sim strategy. I didn't play it. Oh no, I did play. I played Kunitsugami. Kunitsugami is pretty fun. Frostpunk 2 won, but yeah.
I didn't play Frostpunk 2. I love Kunitsugami. I had a blast with that though.
Kunitsugami was really fun. But yeah, Frostpunk 2-1. Then we have Best Family Game.
I'm fine with Astrobot there. That was one of the. It was,
Astrobot is really good. Yeah. I
Astrobot
I think looking at all the things here, I probably even voted for Astrobot. Yeah, it says it has my votes on here. You voted for Astrobot. Astrobot. I only played Astro's Playroom. I have a bit of a humiliating story. Sony sent me the code for Astrobot. I didn't redeem it for a while, and then it was gone. So I never got to play it.
I mean, it came out right in the middle of like Black Myth and a bunch of Black Myth.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Warhammer, so I didn't do a ton of coverage.
And here's
streams.
the thing: if it came out in the middle of Black Myth, that means I was at Gamescom. So that's probably why I didn't redeem it. So.
I ended up the majority of Astrobot I played with my kid just sitting next to me. So that was, like the first like full game you're playing through with your kid is always going to be memorable. So like that, all the awards it got, I'm just like, that game's already a core memory for me now. So like,
core memory unlocked. So Astrobot wins Best Family out of Astrobot, Princess Peach, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Legend of Zelda, and Plucky Squires. Next up, we have Best Fighting Game. I did not play a single fighting game this year. I expected Sparking Zero to win, so Tekken 8 taking it was a little bit surprising.
The thing is, Sparking Zero is actually a really bad fighting game. It's more of a party game.
Yeah.
And if you like, I don't follow the pro scene, but I've like been like reading up on some stuff. Like apparently it debuted at one of the recent fighting tournaments, and final fight was basically two dudes just air dashing up and down for like 3 minutes, avoiding each other while trying to sneak in key blast. Like 3 minutes of just.
It's like, it's just like the show. The show is the same thing. It's just like you can't see them; they're so fast.
Yeah, but that's like optimal playing to try and win in that game. It's like Sparking Zero is one of those games where it's like, you're having some beers, you got a couple buddies over, you're like, yo, you want to play some Sparking Zero? And they're like, I'm gonna fuck you up. And you're like, no, I'm gonna fuck you up. Like that's what it's meant for. It's not. I don't think of it as a competitive game.
The first time that I played a Budokai game was actually on the Wii, and me and my friends, we had a blast because you had to actually do the motions with the Wiimote and the nunchuck to like do Spirit Bomb, and you actually had to like hold your arms in the air and then like slam down when the time was right. It was hilarious. We had a blast. And Kamehameha was the same thing. You had to like do it like charge it up and then do the thing. It was really, really cool.
We played it in 3 in college a ton, and just it would be like if we didn't want to go out, we would just get some beers. We'd all gather on the couch and just fight each other and Budokai for hours.
So the other nominees were Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising and the Marvel versus Capcom Fighting Collection and Multiverses. Somebody made a really funny joke about Multiverses. I forget what it was though. It was something like they felt that on all the multiverse or something like that.
I mean, I played Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, and it's obviously a very nice collection of some of my favorite games.
Yeah, I used to play those at the arcade back in the day.
Yeah, no, I have a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 arcade deck, so like my kid occasionally gets up there, and I just get bodied. Shit. But the thing with Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is like. A lot of these fighting games come out and people are like, they're jumping in and teching and learning. Like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 launched and people were jumping into multiplayer, and you had like
there was that one guy,
Justin Wong, with like 30 years of experience, was just like, I'm gonna ruin your fucking day. Just like infinite juggling people. They're like, I'm not having fun anymore. So
dude, like
I get it.
I had no idea who that dude was, and then suddenly when that game came out, he was all over social media. Like everybody was like, "Oh, you think you're having fun? You think you're having fun?" Right up until you meet this guy in the game. He's just like they're juggling people nonstop.
Yeah. Like it's
crazy.
It's crazy to think how old that game is, and still like there is a thriving. I don't know if thriving is the right word, but there is still a healthy fighting scene around that game, and people still discovering new tech and new combos, and just crazy.
So next up was Best RPG. Dragon's Dogma 2 was nominated alongside Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and Metaphor ReFantasio. Metaphor ReFantasio took the win. You good with that? Because I didn't play it. You're the one who played this one.
I was hoping Metaphor would take Game of the Year.
I was gonna vote for Metaphor, and then out of spite, I voted for Shadow of the Erdtree because way too many people in social media were getting way too comfortable crapping on Shadow of the Erdtree, not because it was nominated, but just straight up saying it was a bad game. And I was like, okay, well, now I want it to win because I'm spiteful. That's why. But
no, I mean, I obviously I still love Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2 is amazing.
The most hours I've put into a game this year was Dragon's Dogma 2. But I can see why Metaphor would have won over it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because Dragon's Dogma 2, I feel like it needed a bit more content and some replayability for those final bosses that you do. Because, like, there's no reason to kill the final bosses again, which I think was a big mistake on their part.
I think the launch really screwed Dogma 2. Like, so I think you had the bumpy launch performance-wise, and if it wasn't for the bumpy launch, I don't think the, deluxe edition piecemealed out into micros would have gotten as much attention. But you had the bumpy launch, and then
you had the micros.
All these fucking micros, and it was just like a problem on top of a problem. just like they compounded on each other.
On top of that, I do feel like they needed, let's say, 5 more monsters. They needed a labyrinth similar to what we got in Dark Arisen. I don't think you needed a labyrinth, but like give players a reason to fight those final bosses more than once. I think would have been like a big thing.
as a sequel though, like you want to expand upon everything that makes your previous games great.
But it's almost like asking for essentially Dark Arisen out of Dragon's Dogma 2 is almost like, well, I want Master Rank in Monster Hunter Wilds.
Well, I don't know about Master Rank, but as much as I enjoyed the exploration in Dogma 2 though, and it's not just killing the final bosses, like once you get to your new game cycle, you've done everything. So you're basically going around at this point. You're mastering your classes, you're getting more materials, but there's no like, what is our grind moving forward? And that's what Dark Arisen brought to the original. And so it feels like they should have seen that and been like, hey, because the core gameplay, I love playing Dogma.
Absolutely.
But we both agree, like we needed
more.
I want more to do. And that's just where the labyrinth concept would have gone in well. If there was just, something at the very end, like you make it, or like, and I really liked the concept of the unmoored world. Like once you get there, you're like, this, like, the Dragon's Dogma 2 title screen pops up and you're like, what the fuck? We're breaking the cycle. But like they could have made something like while you were there, like, this is a labyrinth that relives the experiences of all past cycles. And you're going through like fighting bosses endlessly or something like that. There were opportunities where it could have been done.
And even not just that, but like once you finish Unmoored, right, the difficulty doesn't scale. So you go back to game, but like your goblins are still level 1. So you're going to go in there and just like, goblin's dead. And you're like,
you're God.
You're basically God at that point. And even like the hardest dragons and stuff, you're like, okay, one slap, dragon's dead. So it's like, yeah, that was a problem. And then the patch that they've done introduced like casual mode, and I was like, that's not what we needed.
Because it was too hard. There were a lot of very crybaby bullshit about that game. I can't fast travel. Literally, get on the fucking cart.
Yeah,
you go to the cart and you say, I want to go to the town. No, I want to click the map. Like,
the game was not designed for fast travel. And the funny thing is, while I was exploring, I would always find new things, which I always thought was really cool. Because like, I'm going over here. And they're like, I didn't see that cave last time. And then you go in, like spend a little bit exploring. It's just, again, like I said, 5 more big monsters, right? I think would have made a massive difference. And then like actual new game plus cycle, as opposed to just, it's the same exact difficulty, nothing changes. And a reason for players to kill the final bosses more than once. I think that would have made wonders for that game. But
it would have helped.
It is what it is. Metaphor Fantasia.
Okay. We're gonna get Darker Arisen, and it's gonna fix all these problems.
Darker Arisen. Metaphor Fantasio took that one, and I think it's well deserved. So that's good.
I need to finish it. I'm not through it yet. I'm up to, I think it's the seaside town, which I think is like the 3rd major town.
I wanted to start it, but then I got into Path of Exile 2, and That's
Well,
like
so
a rabbit hole I'm not leaving.
It had been my bedtime game for a while, and then recently I got distracted getting my new Magic decks built, and then Path 2 came out, so I've been playing Path 2, and so because I've been doing a witch playthrough on my own.
We'll
see
talk.
if I enjoy
We'll
that
talk
more.
more.
We'll talk more.
More
But so
about
I need
Path of
to.
Exile. Yeah.
I think
But,
once I'm finally done with Path, I'll be able to get back and finish Metaphor, because I'm gonna take it all the way. I'm gonna finish it. It's been good.
So this category was really, really strange. Best action adventure, and the nominees were
none of those were really action adventures. I felt.
yeah, because like the nominees are Astrobot, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaws, Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. And so Astrobot, I'm like, this is a platformer. This is a fantastic game, but it's a platform. It's not sure you're having an adventure and there's action in it, but it's not what we'd call an action adventure.
Yeah.
Even Prince of Persia, I feel like is a little bit of a stretch because it's more of what do you call it, Metroidvania, right? That's what you told me. It's a Metroidvania. And then Silent Hill is survival horror, I think, right? Star Wars Outlaws, I can kind of accept it, even though it's open world. But yeah, it's kind of like
I've
action
heard it's
adventure.
been improved, but at launch, that game was stealth adventure, not action adventure. Because you would get caught and it did the like, there they are, dun dun dun, and it would like reload your save. And I was like, oh man, any boner I had for this game is gone. Nothing,
did you actually do like a let's play or something, or
I did a pretty long stream of it to like try and get into it,
and then you popped out?
Well, what killed it for me, I was getting through stuff and I got to this one mission where it's like I had to like sneak into a base and get some documents. Then I like picked whether I'm gonna like stick with this cartel or betray them. And so we're talking like 20, 30 minutes of progress. I'm like stealthing in, I'm stealing weapons, I'm knocking dudes out. I get into the base, stuff goes down, an alarm starts going off, I'm going to escape. And I think I got like cornered and I died. And it went all the way back to where I like first spoke with the mission giver. And I was like, oh no, I'm done. No. Like, This is infinitely worse than any boss run back I ever had to do in a Souls game. There's no fucking way I'm re-stealthing that. Like, y'all didn't think to put a checkpoint at the midway point when all the alarms started going off after a pivotal story decision? I'm done. No thanks.
The thing for me with that game that I always thought was weird is how she's punching stormtroopers in their helmets, and that's her takedown. And I was like, what are the helmets even doing? You can, she's not even pistol whipping them though. It's like a straight up punch into the helmet.
Those titanium implanted knuckles, obviously.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. But yeah, I wasn't super interested in it because like the animations didn't seem like they were all that great either. So it wasn't. Oh, you're just because you actually played it. You're like, they're not great.
No, I mean it was okay. Like Star Wars Outlaws was the perfect example of a game that's just okay. Like for your average gamer, it's 6, maybe 7 out of 10. It's definitely a game that's made for Star Wars fans. And as someone who's not a huge Star Wars fan, I was just like, okay.
Yeah, huge Star Wars fan. That's me. I'm the huge Star Wars fan.
I'm not at all. So I went in and I was like, I shoot people. And there was some weird design decisions. Like I remember like one of the early missions, I like climbed through this vent and there's like a blaster sniper and I'm like, I'm gonna fuck so much stuff up. But I'm in like a small room. I kill like 3 people and then I need to climb a ladder and I need to leave behind the sniper rifle behind because Kay can only carry her pistol for some reason. And I'm like,
you can't put that on your back. That doesn't work.
No. Yeah. And I'm like, man, like, let me fucking take one gun at least. Like, I'm glad we found this, S40 Imperial face fucker blaster rifle. Oh, you killed 3 guys? Yeah. Go just throw that out. It's too hard to climb a ladder with that. I was like,
tell Nix to grab it in his mouth and like
carry that up there, bro. Yeah. So I mean, not a terrible game, but not a good game. Just very much average.
So the other game was Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, which was the one that I voted for because I'm like, hey, it's the only action adventure game in the action adventure category.
Was that the one where you played as Zelda?
Zelda, yeah. I didn't play it. I voted for it, like I said, because it was the only action adventure game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the one where she like duplicates stuff. So like she finds a bed and then she can duplicate the bed to make platforms and go across the places.
Yeah. I saw some gameplay of it, but also did not have a chance.
So, best action game: Warhammer 40,000: Space Marine 2, Stellar Blade, Helldivers 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and Black Myth Wukong. Now, a lot of people are gonna hurt me, but it's not my fault. I didn't get to finish Black Myth Wukong because by the time I came back from Gamescom, all the hype for that game, like nobody wanted to see me stream it. Nobody was showing up for the streams, so I didn't get the stream. I did like 3 streams of it, and I enjoyed it. But the last stream that I did was probably the least enjoyable because it was the pagoda level. If you remember that,
Yeah.
that's the one where you go from
you're
normal
looping
thing.
around,
Yeah, that one was kind of an annoying level to begin with. So whatever. But like, I think the game's a ton of fun. I had a blast when I was playing it, and I did want it to finish it. It's just straight up scheduling problems. I'll eventually get back to it and finish it because I think the game's fun. But I was really rooting for Stellar Blade here. Like Stellar Blade, I absolutely
think
love.
Stellar Blade, or I think Space Marine could have won that.
Yeah, Space Marine.
When I think just
so
straight
wait,
up pure
you finished
action,
Wukong though, right?
I finished Wukong, Stellar Blade, and Space Marine.
Wouldn't
No.
Wukong be a better like a better game to be nominated for best action adventure? As well as action even, right?
Yeah, I think
You could have been in both
action
categories.
Action adventure, I think Wukong would have been a better nominee, and I think it would have properly won that category because it's very much, I mean, literally it's based on Journey to the West. You're going on a fucking adventure. That is the core of the game. You're going through multiple zones, you're gaining multiple abilities, you're meeting multiple NPCs, there's a story to tell.
And by the way, that's not to say that it shouldn't also be nominated for action game. I don't want people to think that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that this game should have also been nominated for best action adventure, and it probably would have won that category as well. But out of these games here, which one were you rooting for the most? Because you've played all of them. I've only played Stellar Blade and Warhammer to completion, and a little bit of Black Myth Wukong.
For me, it would have been between Stellar Blade and 40K.
Okay.
The Stellar Blade, I personally, I liked Stellar Blade more than I liked Wukong.
Me too.
I think
I didn't finish
Wukong,
but I liked Stellar Blade more.
My big problem with Wukong is the combat doesn't evolve that much. Like, you have your 3 stances, but it ultimately, like, there's little niche moves in each, but it boils down to like, what's your finisher? Are you doing the big extension? Are you doing the big slam? Are you doing the
I was playing
what the last one was.
I remember that I was playing something about a parry.
Else.
I was doing something with a parry. I was doing whatever was the one that you parry and then you bam. Whatever.
Yeah, but I didn't feel the, like, there were, I think, 3 bosses in Wukong that I was like, oh yeah, this feels good. Whereas Stellar Blade, I enjoyed a lot of the boss fights. I mean, Stellar Blade was just, Sekiro with tits for me. So I had a blast playing Stellar Blade. I was like, dude, this is hitting. This is hitting all the marks.
I loved Stellar Blade. I was giga hooked. Like, Stellar Blade was one of those games that I played the whole way, did a review, and then when the game came out, I streamed it the whole way again. And I had a ton of fun doing that as well. The other game that I remember doing that for in recent memory was Ghost of Tsushima, where I played it all the way, did a review, game comes out, and play it all the way again, and still greatly enjoyed it. And Stellar Blade was that, and I loved it.
I think if I had to pick one, I would probably still boil down to 40K, just because when I hear the word action, a lot of 80s action movies pop into my mind. I think like Terminator, Predator, like that's the type of shit that my brain associates with action. And Space Marine 2 is just pure action.
What was your class when you were doing multiplayer?
Usually co-op multiplayer or PvP?
Co-op.
Vanguard.
Yep. Wait.
You just jump.
No, wait.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the grappling hook guy.
Okay, so no, that's not the one that I was playing. Which one's the one with the shield? I forget. Bulwark. Yeah, Bulwark. That's the one that I was playing.
I did Bulwark a lot in PvP. But PvE, dude, Vanguard was so fucking fun in the op missions because I would like see a controller in the back, grappling hook into him, drop kick, boom, boom, charge dagger stab, throw a grenade to the side, start slashing people up with the dagger. Like, you were so mobile, and yet you pumped. It honestly made me a little depressed because the dagger in ops was fucking sick. I was murking so much shit, and then I went into PvP with my dagger, and I was like, yeah, oh, I'm dead. yeah, oh, I'm dead. And I'm like, man, that's
so here's a funny
contrast.
Here's a funny thing about Warhammer PvP. I didn't play too much of it. I had a 100% win rate. Okay, I think I did total like 10 matches or something. Never lost. Played as Bulwark. I would go in and I'd be like, I'd wait for the team to actually collapse on the position they were going for, and then I would just go in, put up my shield, and just stay there while the team was murking everybody else. It was great.
That's all you had to do. Yeah,
Exactly.
I
Just go
had
in there,
a lot
put
of
up
fun
your
with
shield.
the multiplayer. The grind was a bit iffy, I think, for Space Marines 2 multiplayer, because you had like the guns that you could use and whatnot unlocked, Call of Duty style. But
yeah, there was a lot of stuff to unlock. I remember
the rate that you would gain experience was quite low, and so it got to a point where I'm like, okay, 14 more matches and I get my sword, and that was like a level 14 reward. Like, this isn't like, oh yeah, you got to be like 50 for that. No, this was like a very like early-ish mid reward.
But a really cool thing about it too was the customization that you could do to your Space Marine.
Yeah.
It felt
dude.
fantastic.
There was a bunch of memes. I was like, this game's just fucking Barbie dress up, but for guys. And I'm like,
exactly. That's
yes.
exactly what it is.
Look at
Which
my
is a
armor,
good
the
thing.
adornment I have chosen.
So, but yeah, Black Myth Wukong won Best Action Game. Next up, VR, AR. Did you play any VR games this year? I didn't.
I didn't. I'm trying to get back into VR. The boys want to play. There's some game. It's like a an extraction shooter, but with VR. And all my buddies are like, we gotta play it. But I've seen some like funny clips. Like there's this dude. I should try and find it for you. But like some guy rolls up on him. He's like, hey, I'm unarmed, but I'll make you a deal. He's like, I got a piece of toilet paper and a granola bar. And the guy's like, what? And he's like, I'm just saying, you let me go, you get a piece of toilet paper and a granola bar. And the guy's like, I don't need toilet paper. And he's like, but a granola bar. And the guy's like, I'm probably gonna die from this somehow. Let me come over. And so the guy walks over to him and he's like, here you go. And then he's like, okay, let me look in your bag. And he's like, sure. And he's like, this is gonna end badly for me, isn't it? And the guy's like, and while he's like looking in the dude's backpack, he pulls the pistol out of the guy's holster and shoots him in the head. And he's like, but like the timing, what does he say?
It sounds fun.
He says something. He's like, are you a trustworthy man? And he's searching his bag, and the guy's like, nope, no, I am not. And I'm like, what the fuck is this game? Like, I'll have to find that clip. I'll have to send it to you after the cast. But I was like, oh man, I would play this. The shenanigans remind me of like DayZ back in the day.
So the nominees for this one were Arizona Sunshine Remake, Asgard's Wrath 2, Batman Arkham Shadow, Metal Hellsinger VR. I've heard good things about Metal Hellsinger regular version, and Metro Awakening and Batman Arkham Shadow took the win.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about Arkham Shadow. I didn't play it myself, but everyone was like, yeah, no, that deserved it. That was really good.
So next up was Best Mobile Game. I don't play mobile games. There's 2 gacha games in here, plus AFK Journey, which I don't know if it's another gacha. Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket, and Balatro took the win, which I was happy because I'm like, that looks like the only actual game in here. So
yeah, I've been playing it lately. That's another game that's been competing for my my bedtime gaming, and it'll gobble hours up.
Yeah, I bought it on Steam during the recent discount thing that happened. So I was like, oh, I'll buy Balatro. I wanted to play it before the Game Awards, but I never got a chance to. But yeah. So next up was Best Debut Indie. Animal Well, Balatro, Manor Lords, Pacific Drive, and Plucky Squire. Balatro took the win there as well. I actually thought Balatro might even have a chance at the actual game award, the game of the year. But yeah.
Yeah.
So
I found that clip, by the way, if we want to add it in. It's how long is this? It's like a 60-second short.
Let me see if I can figure out a way. If I do this, does this show up?
It's called Ghost of Tabor.
Don't shoot me.
Why wouldn't I shoot you right now, dude?
Because I have a toilet paper and a granola bar for you.
Supposed to stop me from killing you?
I don't know if you heard me. A toilet paper and a granola bar.
I'll take the granola bar, I guess.
This is.
Put it in the book bag.
This is. I feel like if I touch your bag, you're going to shoot me in the face.
I just don't trust you, you know?
What do you think I'm going to do to you? I have.
I think you're gonna kill me somehow, some way, at some point. I don't trust you.
I've got a gun hidden inside the toilet.
You don't have anything. So,
I
like,
mean, pat me down.
you just went in here naked, man?
Yeah.
Are you a man of your word?
Nope. No, I am not.
If your word.
Just pops him, dude.
Oh, let me fix the layout because I destroyed everything. Okay.
I'm like, yeah, a man is never going to trust anyone in this game for the rest of his life.
I have to bookmark this in our chat because now I'm going to have to edit it in. You're giving me extra work. Look at what you're doing.
I think if anything's going to get people into VR, that's what would get me back into VR.
Anyway, like I was saying, Balatro took the win on Best Independent Game between Animal Well, Balatro, Loreline, Laser Eyes, Neva, and UFO 50. And let me just say, you ruined me in one of these podcasts with the Neva game when you told me that your chat was like, never gonna play it. Because every time I see this game, I literally hear your voice. I have a terrible memory, but for some reason, my brain has this ability to just cling on to the worst brain rot. And so every time I see the game Neva, I literally hear it in your voice in my head. Never gonna play it. It's like, and it's so toxic, dude.
I don't know anything about the game. I'm bad now. I'm sure it's a good game.
The worst part.
It's what chat said, not me. It's what chat said.
And the worst part is my chat started doing the same thing. So like every time they would bring up this game, and this game won some award, and my whole chat is memeing on it, and I'm feeling terrible. I'm like, bro, it's like some indie game, and all of you are just friggin'
made by like
abusing.
two devs. One of them were like funding money to fight off cancer, and we're like, never gonna play it, idiots.
It's fucked up, dude. Because it did win an award. We're probably gonna see it pop up here at some point. Anyway,
I think it was Game for a Message at one.
yeah. So, best community support, we have Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky. I was really rooting for No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky has been doing amazing updates. And as a matter of fact, they released a new ship for free during the Game Awards. So you can get like an exclusive ship that you'd have to do some expedition for.
Baldur's Gate 3 is dropping new fucking subclasses, though, for everybody for free, and adding crossplay. It
just seems to me like my decision to wait on my next playthrough is definitely paying off because my next playthrough is going to be way more interesting. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm either doing
I just need Sven
throw barb or hexblade.
I just need Sven to come out and say, "Okay, guys, it's finished." And I'll be like, "Thanks, Sven. I'm going to go play it again now."
I'm definitely that's as soon as I get like a good slow season.
Yeah.
That's the only bad thing. It sounds weird to even call it a bad thing, but the only bad thing about Baldur's Gate 3 is I need a fucking clear schedule when I decide to play it. Because that game is like, oh, do you have a month of time available?
It takes.
The next month is empty good because it will take at least that much.
But they won for best community support, which I think is real good. But yeah, I was really rooting for No Man's Sky. Also, another thing, they said that that game that Hello Games is working on, Light No Fire, was supposed to come out this year, and there was no news. There was nothing. I expected it to be shown at the Game Awards.
I'd rather them take time and cook over a No Man's Sky, launch 2.0 type situation.
So this is one of the categories that I was very frustrated by. Best ongoing, Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Helldivers 2. And I was like, you should just remove Destiny 2 from that category. Then you can remove Diablo 4 as well. And then you can leave Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and you can come up with something else to put on there. Like No Man's Sky, for instance.
I don't think an expansion to a game... When I think ongoing, I think more like games as a service.
Yeah.
Like, something like Final Fantasy 14, Helldivers. That makes sense. But like, I mean, didn't
the biggest problem
Phantom
with
Liberty
Helldivers
win it last year or the year before? Phantom Liberty got like best ongoing, and I'm like, It's an expansion though. Why are we like, yeah, technically that it's continuing to go on, but like it's a major paid content update. It's not just like, hey, here's more stuff we're adding into the game for you to enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. There were other games that could have been on here, I feel like. And Diablo 4 is just, I'm always going to be annoyed at Diablo 4 for them taking my season pass token. But yeah.
I still have mine. I'm still waiting for a day where I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna go hard. So it's just every time I log in, do you want to redeem this? No, sit back down. I'll get it to you eventually.
Just think about it though. You could be playing Path of Exile 2 instead. But we'll talk about that.
I have been. Well, we will talk about it. But who won that one? Was it Helldivers?
It was Helldivers won best ongoing. The thing about Helldivers, I did vote for Helldivers out of all those games because I did not like Dawn Trail. So let me tell, I think I've told you already, but I think your decision to end your Warrior of Light's journey at Endwalker was, I wish I had done the same. I wish I had done the same. I would have had good memories, and now I have bad memories of Dawn Trail.
Like anytime Final Fantasy 14 comes up, my memories are just like
pristine.
What an amazing journey.
Yep.
A wonderful set. It's like the end of Witcher 3 when Geralt gets to just retire to sipping wine and fucking Yennefer. That's how my Warrior of Light went out. Just the peak. Just
and that was the best way of doing it because every time I think of Final Fantasy 14 now, I think of a Disney musical act and I'm like, this is not what I wanted. This is not what I wanted at all. That's my memory of Final Fantasy 14. That's when I stopped playing. It was after the Disney musical act.
Reaffirming my decision to retire him when I did.
Yep, that was a good decision. I'm not sure if I'm going to go back, to be honest. Like, they'll have to really win me over because I have to play that expansion to get to the next one.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. But anyway, next up we have Games for Impact. Guess what game won that one?
Never.
God damn.
So,
I feel so bad.
Let me look this up. Let me look it up. I want to look at Neva and
the nominees were Closer the Distance, Indica, Neva, Life is Strange, Double Exposure, Senua's Saga.
This is the game where everyone's like, this shit's gonna make me cry. It's a girl and her dog dies.
Yeah. Senua's Saga, Hellblade
like an
2.
Ori vibe to it.
And Tales of Kenzara, Zao, and Neva won. I guess Neva did win.
Looking at this, I remember seeing a trailer for this and being like, this actually looks kind of cool with like her and the dog.
And you never played it, see? You have to play it now because your community memed on it too hard to the point where it stayed in my brain forever.
I mean, we're getting into like the slow period before big releases. I might check it out.
Yeah, there you go.
It has a little bit of like Miyazaki going on in some of these scenes. Not from Miyazaki.
The Miyazaki from Level 5. Level 5, right? That's what you were going for?
No, Miyazaki, like Studio Ghibli Miyazaki.
Yeah, Studio Ghibli. I always get those two confused, Level 5 and...
Yeah, like this straight up. I was just looking at this weird cutscene. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
So then we have Innovation and Accessibility. The nominees were Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Diablo 4, Dragon Age The Veilguard, Prince of Persia The Lost Crown, Star Wars Outlaws. And I don't know what Dragon Age The Veilguard did.
The thing is, there's honestly, and this is coming from someone in our privileged position where we don't suffer from issues that really require these accessibilities, but these games have so many, like Diablo 4, for example. There's a player that's completely blind, cannot see whatsoever that beat Uber Lilith because of like sound cue settings in the game. And the thing is, we are in a position where we will never even look at that shit or experience it because
no, but what I'm saying is I went through all the options of Dragon Age The Veilguard because I was constantly trying to like change some stuff in the UI and whatnot. And I don't remember seeing accessibility options. I think they might be talking about the difficulty options because you had that custom difficulty where you can like, you'll never die and all of that stuff. And I'm just thinking, if that's what they're talking about, the difficulty in Dragon Age Veilguard was actually dog shit. It was terrible. So I'm like, I'm not sure that was a particularly good feature to be nominated for. But again, I could have missed some options. I'm sure they have the colorblind stuff in there for sure. But I think that for a category like this, colorblind alone is not going to cut it. But whatever.
No, my when I think of accessibility in particular, like difficulty modification
I'm thinking
is
like
accessibility.
Last
But I
of
think
Us.
it's the low hanging fruit.
Do you remember Last of Us? They had like
no,
that
when I
high
think,
contrast.
Yeah, I think accessibility, I think something that's helping somebody overcome a disadvantage that an able-bodied person would not be experiencing. That's what comes to mind immediately for me when I hear the term accessibility.
Yeah. So, that's the winner of that one was Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Next up, we have Best Performance. Brianna White on Final Fantasy VII, Hannah Tell on Life is Strange, Humberly Gonzalez on Star Wars Outlaws, Luke Roberts on Silent Hill 2, and Melina Jurgens on Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. Who won? I think this is the second time she wins this award.
The Senua's Saga won. I thought Brianna White was going to take it.
She's Aerith, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
didn't play the entirety of that one. But.
Well, once you get to like where she like sings the whole song, like at the Golden Saucer, you're like, holy shit, this is good. I thought that was very memorable for me.
So then we have Best Audio Design: Astrobot, Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2. Senua's Saga took it. I'm not super surprised. They're very good about their audio design.
It's the only thing that game had going for it.
Yeah, I've heard bad things about that game. And then we have what to me is almost like a snub, but I get why. This was Best Score in Music: Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor Fantasio, Silent Hill 2, and Stellar Blade. I was really rooting for Stellar Blade. Like
I was as well, but I can understand why Final Fantasy got it, man.
It's just, to me, I didn't play it, but how many of those tracks are new tracks, and how many of them are like
100?
Okay.
Like 100.
Okay.
There's a lot. Yeah, no.
I am
the thing.
sitting back down. This is me sitting down. All right. Don't hurt me.
When they first announced it and they were just playing like the FF7 fanfare, I was just like,
yeah,
because that's what you heard, and then somebody was like, no, think back, and I'm just like, bow wow wow bow wow wow, dun, 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 and I'm like, oh yeah, there were some fucking bangers in Rebirth. Now that I think about it, like there was a shit ton, like. Almost every other side quest, almost every different arena battle had like a new score going on. There was just music on top of music on top of music.
I've been told the same, but I was still rude because like Stellar Blade is one of those rare cases where like I will finish the game and then I will be listening to it on my
soundtrack,
and listening to it on my car like while I'm driving and stuff. So yeah, that's usually
I did the same for Stellar Blade.
Yeah.
I also did it for Final Fantasy. After like there were a couple tracks in Final Fantasy, I was like, this is my jam. This is going out on my workout playlist. Considering
my experience with the Persona series, I also expected Metaphor to be a potential winner here too.
I mean, Metaphor had. I think the music's good. Personally, I think I vibe with the music in Persona 5 more. I don't dislike Metaphor's music, but I wouldn't put it at the level of Final Fantasy or Stellar Blade.
Okay. Best Art Direction: Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Metaphor Refantasio, and Neva. Metaphor Refantasio took that one.
Yeah.
I think the art style of that one is solid. I kind of wish that Wayfinder would have been nominated here because I'm a fanboy of Wayfinder.
I don't think really Wayfinder can get nominated for fucking anything, Rory.
Why are you like this? Why are you mean? See, there you go again.
Never gonna play Wayfinder.
Even Neva got nominated for Best Art Direction.
Where's Wayfire? Oh, look, it's installed. Time played 0.
What, dude? God, the disrespect. Do you not like Darksiders, dude? Darksiders
I just haven't had time. I'll get to it.
Oh man. Anyway, they actually just released a new patch that introduces nightmare difficulty. Best Narrative: Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Metaphor Fantasio, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, Silent Hill 2. Metaphor Fantasio takes it.
Yeah. No competition in that category.
Best Game Direction: Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor Fantasio. Astrobot takes it.
Astro took it, yeah. I would have seen Metaphor here as well, personally.
For Best Game Direction. Interesting.
I think so. I think the way that you go on the journey in Metaphor. So I say this as somebody that's not a huge fan of Persona games and finds them most grueling to get through. But I think Metaphor did a lot of things to take that Persona experience and kind of keep that alive for Persona fans while also making design decisions that was able to tap into another audience. And I think that's something that's difficult with a game like that. Like I almost never commit myself to playing turn-based RPGs anymore. It's just it's hard. Especially I do on my own from time to time, but like it's very hard to make content around.
Yeah, these types of games is very, unless you're a channel that just does
unless you're a
these
channel
types of
that
games.
does that.
Yeah.
But
like
Metaphor was one of those games. It's one of the few games where I streamed it a couple times and was like, this isn't going to work out on stream, and then proceeded to play for another 30 hours just on my own laying in bed. There are very few games that will take my time like that.
It's one of those things that I feel like a lot of people don't understand, but particularly in a channel like yours and mine, where it's like Souls and Monster Hunter, trying to go through a JRPG will murder us in the algorithm quite often.
Yep.
But yeah, Astrobot took that one. Then we have Game of the Year: Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantazio. And Astrobot took the win. A lot of people were upset. I said something at the end of my stream that, thinking back, I probably shouldn't have, which is I was trying to say, look, one of the reasons why is most definitely because of its length, because it is a compact game. And I'm saying this as in, I don't want to take anything away from the game. I think the game is awesome. And I kept repeating this, but I think a lot of people didn't get my point. It's just like, I think that it has a good length that also works in its favor because it doesn't require as much investment as a lot of the other games.
So I think I would have liked Metaphor to take it just because it would have been, seeing a anime stylized JRPG taking Game of the Year would have been monumental. I can understand why Astrobot took it, and my chat was doing the same thing. Oh, it's a fucking kid game. It's a fucking kid game. And I think so many people are like obsessed with like, I need big boy games. I need big boy grown up graphics, that like they've forgotten that at the core, the only fucking thing that matters
is the gameplay.
Is the gameplay. Is the game fun? You play a game to have fun. And Astrobot is just pure fucking fun. Yeah, it's just being on a long roller coaster.
I remember when I played Super Mario Odyssey, as somebody that hadn't really played that many Mario games, and when I was playing Super Mario Odyssey, and I was like, I'm so addicted to this game. This is absolutely insane. I loved Super Mario Odyssey.
I brought it on a travel trip, and anytime I wasn't like doing the recording or whatever I was doing, I was just sitting there jamming out on Switch playing Odyssey. Yeah. Like, it's just fun, and that's all that matters.
That's Astrobot, basically. Astrobot is kind of like the Super Mario type game, which is super fun. And all of the references that are there, like PlayStation references, even though I heard that apparently Square Enix didn't want to take part in this, so there's no Final Fantasy in there.
I didn't know that, but
I don't know. I've heard recently that Square Enix didn't want to take part in it. But anyway, another interesting take that I've heard about Game of the Year was people like, a fucking poker game of the year, and I was like, bro, I haven't played Balatro.
All I'm gonna say is fucking play it.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, talking shit about Balatro, spend the $10 or $20, whatever, play it, and then it's like that fucking meme with the bird, and it's like, get that out of my face, and then it's like, oh. Pretty good. Like, that's Balatro in a nutshell. No, but like, it's a fucking poker game until you play it.
Even I haven't played it, but I've heard from people that have played it, and I was like, okay, there's definitely something special there. I understand what is going on.
You got a gaming laptop, right?
Yeah, kinda. It's super old. It's got like a 1070, but it can play Balatro.
Yeah, install Balatro the next time that like the wife's asleep, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna lay in bed for a little bit. Slap that laptop right on your lap, fire up Balatro. And the next thing you know, you're going to be like, yep, I get it.
I know that's going to happen at some point. I already bought it.
My laptop is currently stored under my bed. And when I'm ready to settle in for bed, I reach down, I yoink it out, and I'm like, Balatro time.
So let's talk about all of the announcements that happened at the Game Awards, because this is the thing that we actually tune in for. The awards are cool and all, but... one more thing that I wanted to shout out, though. The speech that Sven did, that was really cool. Everybody should look up the Sven speech on YouTube.
Ooh,
super important.
Real fast, I want to start some drama. You want to hear
Go ahead.
Speeches? Apparently, there's an article. Obviously, it's hard to know like how accurate stuff is these days, but there's an article that the director of Black Myth is basically questioning the Game Awards after he lost, and apparently he had an acceptance speech pre-written from 2 years prior, just because he expected to walk in and take the dub. I'm like, oh. And people thought Kojima liked the smell of his own ass. That's
Holy
well,
shit.
sir.
That's funny.
Like, once again, don't, I'm not confirming this 100%, but there's an article, I saw the headline and I was like,
Ooh.
that is
That's a yikes. But yeah, we don't know about that one. The one thing that I was saying is the Sven speech, definitely everybody should hear the Sven speech. He basically was like lighting everybody in that audience, because like you have all of the big execs there and stuff, and he's just like slowly pouring gasoline on top of all of them. Then just like lights a match, sets them all on fire, and he's like, by the way, y'all suck. Okay? Y'all keep firing people in this fucking industry. Y'all fucking suck. And y'all just like doing shit for your bottom line. You got to be more creative. I thought that was really
so
cool.
this ties into that. After Astrobot 1, apparently there's been an influx of negative Chinese reviews.
Yeah, I've heard on Baldur's Gate 3. Dude, that is so stupid. That is
because they can't, since you can't download
they can't
Astrobot.
review. They can't review Bomb Astrobot, so they're like, well, fuck Baldur's Gate 3 then, and that's like so dumb, dude.
The really shitty thing about it is, like, when Black Myth came out, there was definitely a lot of like weird like anti-China sentiment.
Yeah,
was tied to the game.
It happened. It happened. There were a lot of publications like, coming up with weird allegations about the people working on the game.
I had fun with the game. I think there's a couple areas it could have improved. I gave it I think I gave it a 9 out of 10. I thought I had a blast with it.
Yeah.
And so, I always try to just separate that shit when I play games. But then like shit like this happens, and it's like, y'all really aren't doing yourselves any favors.
Yeah, the whole review bombing Baldur's Gate 3 is completely ridiculous. Like, there's no reason whatsoever to do that.
It just, I fucking hate that shit, because after I'm like, I'm here to play a game. I don't give a fuck about, CCP, China, all that bullshit, and then the game doesn't win, and Chinese players are like, for the motherland, bad Baldur's Gate. It's like, y'all just sit the fuck down here, like... You're not going to beat the allegations doing this shit, okay?
Yep, it's actually the other way around. You're gonna like look like absolute morons.
Yeah, you're fucking putting on the clown makeup right now.
Yep.
Stop.
So the announcements. Number 1, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. That's being worked on by .mu. Looked pretty good.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Ninja Gaiden that I played on.
Looked pretty good, bro.
What,
bro? Way Beyond looked pretty good. And isn't that the hold up? Hang on. Is that? And I think, isn't Game Kitchen doing that one, or are they doing it?
No, it's Game Kitchen. Koei Tecmo and the Game Kitchen.
Yeah.
Why did I say .mu? Yeah, .mu partnered with Koei Tecmo and the Game Kitchen, developers of Blasphemous.
Blasphemous and Blasphemous 2. Blasphemous 2 was fucking great. Blasphemous was great. Knowing a new Metroidvania, Ninja Gaiden, is in their hands.
Like, I just remember seeing it, and I was like, man, I used to play this in my Game Gear, dude.
Yeah, you don't do Metroidvanias as much as I do.
No.
Both Blasphemous games are very good. Like, if there's anybody that's gonna bring that franchise back in a fresh Metroidvania format, like they are a fantastic studio choice.
So then there was this One Move Away game, which is about stacking boxes in a car, and I was like, bro, I have to do
18 and kicked out of the house simulator. It's like, oh my god.
To me, it was like, bro, I have to do this shit in real life. I don't want to be doing this in video games. What the fuck do you mean?
No interest in that one.
This is crazy.
Like, no.
Then we have Slay the Spire 2. I've always heard fantastic things about Slay the Spire. Never really played it.
I would consider Slay the Spire like when people talk about like anime, and they're like, like after Dragon Ball you had like Naruto. Bleach, and Naruto, whatever. Fuck off. Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach as like, those are like Goku walked so these three could run, and like, that's like your anime triangle of like, these are the great shonens. So everything kind of came up.
So this is
I
the
would
Dragon Ball?
Slay the Spire for roguelikes.
It's the Dragon Ball.
It's probably the Dragon Ball. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, Slay the Spire is certainly, I think, the game that popularized card-based combat in games. Before that, all these card-based games, they weren't really a huge thing. And now we're seeing card-based roguelike battlers and roguelike climb the spire type games. We're seeing tons of them.
I did at one point I did a podcast with one of the higher ups of Nintendo in Portugal, and Slay the Spire was like one of his favorite games. Straight up, it was like, yes, this is the game.
Very good.
He friggin' loves it.
Very good.
So then we have Dave the Diver in the Jungle.
I have the first. I haven't played it. I want to. I've heard good. I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Yep. Then we have Thick as Thieves, a new multiplayer immersive stealth game from Warren Spector. I'm personally not interested.
I would stream it if all my homies were like, let's play it one night. So it looks like it would be some dumb fun. Doesn't look like something I'd commit to long term.
Shadow Labyrinth, new Metroidvania style game from Bandai Namco, and it's the one where you have little Pac-Man.
Evil Pac-Man. Yeah,
little Pac-Man dude following.
Supposedly I haven't seen any of the secret level stuff, but supposedly there's a whole secret level episode where people are like, holy shit, it makes so much more sense now. And so I need to watch that. But Pac-Man rebooted as some kind of dark, edgy Metroidvania was not on my
Pac-Man
list,
reimagined as a Hollow Knight-inspired 2D action platformer. Shadow Labyrinth.
Like, just fucking shove it in my mouth right now. That sounds like something I would enjoy.
Steel Paws, the next game from Shenmue creator Yui Suzuki in partner with Netflix Games. It's for mobile devices.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on that.
Kiora, this is from the guys who made Core Keeper, multiplayer exploration game from Buckstorm. Trailer showed multiple player characters exploring depths below the village. Looks like some, Terraria. Looks kind of like Terraria.
I got big Terraria vibes. People that like those games are going to have a blast.
So then there's a football game, even though obviously you guys over there call it
Absolver. Dude, the Absolver subreddit, or not Absolver, the Sifu subreddit is in fucking meltdown. They were like, there's memes. It's like, it's like, we want another Sifu game. The Monkey's Paw Curls. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, that didn't look good. Personally, like from what I've seen, I was like, I'm not interested.
It looked like some Shaolin soccer type shit.
You know, my chat was saying it's like, it's like Rocket League, but with people.
Yeah, no, it is. It is like Rocket League with people.
Yeah, that's football. Yeah. What do you mean Rocket League with people? It's football. It's more like Rocket League is football with cars. It's Rocket League but people.
Well, I mean, they're talking about the trick shots and the juggles.
Yeah, I get it. I just think that visually it didn't look very appealing. I thought it was a mobile game when I first saw it. I was like,
I think seeing the jukes and shit people were doing that, there's no way I would be able to play that game. I would get tripped. I would get fucking my ankles broken the first hour trying to play that.
Yeah. So Solasta 2, which is a CRPG, pits players against a dark force led by an evil sorceress named Shadwin. Turn-based tactical RPG based on SRD, Shadow Realms 5th edition. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
I have not played the first one, but that did.
Neither.
I think
it looks
Baldur's
nice.
Gate kind of turned me on to that genre more, so I might take a look at that.
Next up, The Witcher 4. I mean, I'm playing that. Don't give a crap.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I mean, the thing to me is I never finished Witcher 3. At some point I need to go back, finish Witcher 3. It's just the combat never clicked with me. I'm hoping they improve the combat.
The funniest thing about the drama from it is all the people are like, I wanted more Geralt. Where's Geralt? And I'm like, oh, well, if you had played the game, you play the game, tourist,
so
you would know that he's retired fucking Yennefer on his goddamn vineyard at the end of Blood and Wine. That's where Geralt is. Geralt is no longer adventuring. He's old as fuck and he doesn't want to anymore. If you played the game, you'd understand that.
The biggest thing that people are saying about it now is that there are lore reasons why Ciri supposedly can't become a Witcher, and that is going to be the story that they're going to have to write to justify why Ciri is a Witcher, and they have to write that in a way that respects the previous material. And that's the thing.
I'd be curious about these reasons because I have read all of the books. I'm halfway through the final book, the one that's more. I think is it Tower of Swallows? I'm trying to remember. It's the book that's more focused on Ciri, and I just haven't had time to finish it.
But, I mean, like I don't know the lore because I don't dive that deep.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, but it's like what people are saying is that women can't complete the Trial of Grasses or something like that, apparently, because every woman that goes through the Trial of Grasses dies. But then Ciri has like magical elder blood or whatever the crap it is.
Yeah, so
maybe she's able to overcome that. I don't know.
Ciri, back in the third game at least, Ciri didn't do the Trial of Grasses.
Yeah.
Like she didn't undertake that. But yeah, Ciri has like basically elven elder god blood. And so I wouldn't be surprised if that just ties into it. Like she has powers.
I mean, it has to be something that they're going to do with that, but I think that a lot of people in the community are not going to accept that.
If you read the books, like she's essentially a multiverse walker. Like there's a whole fucking period in the books where she basically goes to like King Arthur's realm and like meets that whole gang and shit. Like she walks the multiverse. I think she can be a Witcher if she wants.
I don't know.
Like I think her power scaling is a little. That's honestly the bigger question. Is like obviously how are they going to do the gameplay, but like on a power level, if Ciri has access to all of her powers, like she's up there in terms of like an Omega level mutant in terms of the shit she can do.
So you want to know what my biggest concern is for Witcher 4? Unreal Engine 5. That's my biggest concern for The Witcher 4. That thing's going to come out and it's going to run like ass and it's going to, bro, every time.
You just, listen, all you need is a currently unannounced NVIDIA GTX card.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like the game comes out and you'll need the NVIDIA card that comes out after the game comes out just to be able to play the fucking thing because Unreal Engine 5.
Giving it on the 6090.
I am legit. I've gotten to a point where I'm just like completely burned on Unreal Engine 5. We've had Lords of the Fallen, which was a complete shit show when it came out. We've had Remnant 2, where you couldn't even fucking play it. If you remember, Remnant 2 came out. You couldn't even play the fucking thing, and you have a god tier rig. So it's like it seems like most games come out on Unreal Engine 5. Like Wukong, I had issues running Wukong. Like I had to like tweak the fucking settings over and over and over until I finally got to a thing where it's like, okay, now it's running somewhat half decent on my AMD GPU. And it's like, I'm tired of Unreal Engine 5, bro. Everybody's like, oh, Unreal Engine 5 graphics look so good. And I'm like, yeah, and everything runs like shit every single time. Jesus.
Isn't the Lies of P DLC supposed to be Unreal 5?
I don't know. The original was Unreal Engine 4. And Stellar Blade was Unreal Engine 4 as well, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. But, the next announcement, we will go into much more detail after we go over all these, which was Elden Ring Nightreign. It's 3-player co-op, roguelite, Elden Ring. There's going to be way more detail we're going to get into.
There's discussion to be had.
Yeah. After that, we had Project Robot. This is from the makers of Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, and The Last Guardian. And we have no idea what this game is. We just know, hey, it's the guys who made Shadow of the Colossus. It's Shadow Colossus with mechs. Okay? Probably going to be cool. Then we have the only guy that is allowed to curse on the show came over and announced his game. I thought it was hilarious that like Joseph Fares is in there with his family, goes up on stage, curses up a storm, and then friggin' Randy Pitchford comes out to announce something for Borderlands 4 and he's like, mother fluffin' Borderlands. And I was like, what do you mean? Did Joseph Fares use all of the budget for curse words?
He used they had to stay below a threshold to keep it below R rating.
But yeah, his next
game, 4
game,
F-bombs and he gets them all.
His next game is Split Fiction. I always find that the business model of these games is actually really cool because like you could buy the game and then we would both be able to play it. I think that's really cool.
I still got to play It Takes Two. I've heard really good things about it. I haven't played it. I wanted to play it with the wife, but that's obviously hard with 2 toddlers.
I played a little bit of what was the other one that they did before It Takes Two?
The jail escape
the jail escape one. Yeah, I played a little bit of that one. That one was really fun. I played it with a friend of mine. So yeah, I enjoyed that. But these games are usually pretty cool. And this one looks particularly fun because they're traveling between a sci-fi realm and then a fantasy realm And they had and then there was one where you play as a pig and then you end up as a sausage.
That was the sausage. Yes.
In a fucking BBQ. I was like, what the hell?
They're like, you play as a pig and you end up as, well.
We don't talk about this level. The sausage bouncing off on the BBQ.
Yeah. I was cracking up. That was good.
Then we have Steel Hunters, which I don't even remember this one.
I do. It looked like the biggest piece of slop I've seen. And
Wargaming's next IP is Steel Hunters, a 12-person multiplayer shooter that's part hero shooter, part battle royale, and part fuck. So they're just going for all the boxes, huh? Hero shooter, battle royale, and extraction shooter.
Yeah.
All right. Players control massive mechs called Hunters. Okay, so they're basically as they fight for Starfall. You mean Titanfall? Yeah. So they play Titanfall?
I mean, I love mechs, but the idea of a battle royale hero shooter extraction, I'm like, no.
Yeah. So then
there's a play. Actually, I'm curious because there's a play test of it on Steam right now. Let me see if there's Steam reviews. Let's see. What was the full name? What was it?
Steel Hunters. It's just Steel Hunters.
Steel Hunters free. Oh, they don't have any reviews listed.
No reviews. Yet. Okay. So
there are no reviews. Let's see what's coming up. Steel Hunters reviews. I played 5 hours of Steel Hunters. Steel Hunters Wargaming's newest failure.
Damn. Harsh.
Yeah.
So
I mean, but just the fact that it's a battle royale extraction shooter, hero shooter, I'm like, no.
So
sound good.
Then we have Borderlands 4. Randy Pitchford took to the stage to reveal the first gameplay trailer for Borderlands 4. And for me, it's like I had enough Borderlands by Borderlands 2. I'll be real.
Yeah.
I played the hell out of Borderlands 2.
We were talking about it on
had a
stream.
blast, and then I was like, yeah, I'm good.
I think it's a franchise that you kind of just grow out of. Like,
maybe.
I mean, I hope it's good. Borderlands 3, I struggled to enjoy, mainly because you couldn't skip any cutscenes or anything. So on subsequent playthroughs, it was the slowest attempt to replay the game ever. And you're like I've heard they've patched all that shit long since then, but yeah, I don't know, man. I think the writing of Borderlands just kind of stopped appealing to me at a certain point.
So then we have Clive Rosfield in Tekken 8. Sounds good. I love Clive.
Yeah,
cool beans.
Good for Tekken players.
New Virtua Fighter was announced. I actually called this game because I had heard rumors that there was a new Virtua Fighter. When I saw the fighting pose of one of the characters, it's Virtua Fighter, and my chat was like, "Wait, what? How did you call that?"
It's the time of the millennials. We have fucking Virtua Fighter, Okami, and Onimusha all coming back.
I never played Okami and Onimusha. I only had a PC back then, man. It was rough.
All the millennials are getting to the lead dev roles, and they're like, "We're bringing back the good shit. Fuck this new age slop. Give us our boomer games."
So then we got Project Sentry, Ryu
That
Ga
looks
Gotoku.
fucking wild.
I have no idea what this is. Third-person action game set in Japan.
Yeah, some dude fucking up people in the street. It gave me big Sleeping Dogs vibes. I'm like,
Sleeping Dogs was badass.
Yeah, Sleeping Dogs meets a Yakuza, type setting. I would. Then if the combat is anything like what we saw in that trailer, yes, absolutely yes.
Then we have Turok Origins, classic Nintendo 64 first-person shooter franchise. I never played the original.
Turok was amazing.
Yeah, did you like the gameplay footage that they showed?
Yeah. I would. I mean, I played a shit ton of Turok with buddies on N64. I'm like, let's go. This is another one of those millennials we have our day type games. Yes, let's go.
Warframe 1999. That's a new campaign thing they're adding for Warframe. It's a big thing because I think this is some of the first time they're putting faces on these Warframes. So interesting.
I had people in my chat. They were like, "Wait, today?" And I was like, "Yeah." They said it's coming out today. They're like,
"Hi."
Like right now? And I'm like, yeah, right now. And they're like, oh no, I don't have any time. better get on it.
Then there's Splitgate 2. I've heard good things about the original, but yeah, I don't know a whole lot about this.
Mixed things about the original.
So
it was the Halo killer, and then it was a flop, and then I just stopped hearing about it.
So this next one, Onimusha Way of the Sword. Tell me about this, Cowboy. Sell me on
Bro.
this. Because I want to play it. I've already messaged Capcom. Hey, I need this. I want this.
Take like the aesthetic of Neo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sprinkle in a little bit of like Sekiro gameplay, a little action adventure, a
Ooh,
little fighting demons.
that sounds good.
It's gonna be good.
I'm into that. I'm gonna play that
Yeah.
100%. Next up, Stage Fright, which looked kind of lame. Personally, I was like,
Oh wait,
from
was that the one? Hang on, Stage Fright, the one
from
where
the
it was like,
Overcooked guys.
oh, I'm thinking of what was the one we saw where it was like the people running around in the haunted house.
I think it's that one.
Is that Stage Fright?
I think so. I don't know.
The one I'm thinking of was like a multiplayer game though.
This is a multiplayer game.
Eight player multiplayer.
Oh,
Isn't
8
Stage
player.
Fright the 2-person
No.
one?
Stage Fright is split screen two people.
Yeah, that one didn't really appeal to me.
Yeah,
There was a
me
different
neither.
one they announced that looked.
Then there's Sonic Racing Crossworlds, which is, I'm assuming, something similar to Mario Kart or something like that.
Yeah, probably. I never played it, but yeah.
Mafia: The Old Country, so it's GTA but in Italy.
No, it's they've confirmed
Isn't it?
it's going to be a linear driven adventure.
Oh.
not open world.
Interesting, because Mafia used to be open world, right?
From what I understand, I haven't played the Mafia games, but I've
Yeah.
heard they're usually very GTA-esque,
So-
which is kind of why I never played them.
This next announcement was actually really interesting because it's the Okami sequel, but the interesting part is Kamiya going back to Capcom.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? Capcom's getting Kamiya? That is
Wait, didn't
very
they say? Hang
interesting.
on. I thought it was announced that his new studio is developing it and Capcom is publishing it though.
So let me see. Okami sequel. The penultimate announcement was from Capcom, which revealed that a sequel to Okami is currently in development. Clovers is the name of the studio on the project, and Hideki Kamiya is the head of the project. Okay, so Capcom's publishing it. Kamiya is doing it in his studio.
Yeah.
But that was cool. That was I thought Kamiya was going back to Capcom. Although to be honest, I've grown somewhat wary after Scalebound. I was like, man. Do you know? I think I've told you. I saw Scalebound being played in front of me, dude, by Kamiya. No, Kamiya wasn't playing it. Somebody else was playing, but Kamiya was in the room. I was like, God damn it! I saw it being played.
What could have been?
It was really good. It was really
Never
fucking
was.
good, dude. I saw it. But yeah. And then the final thing on the show, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, which set everything on fire. Everybody hates it. Me, I'm mostly concerned about, are they going to follow through and do another story like The Last of Us 2, which was brutally disappointing? Because like the gameplay was
fun. I
fun.
what the gameplay is like. If the gameplay is good, I mean, it has big Akira vibes. It has Cowboy Bebop vibes. I'm here for it. I don't care if you don't think the protagonist is fuckable enough. She's a video game character. You were never going to fuck her to begin with. Is the gameplay good? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I'm concerned with the gameplay, but like I said, I'm also very concerned about the story. I was very disappointed with Last of Us 2. Like,
I think it's kind of weird though. Like The Witcher 4, pure cinematic trailer, but I'm hyped because it's The Witcher. I have a rough idea of what I'm gonna get.
Exactly.
Pure cinematic trailer. I'm disappointed because it's a brand new IP and I don't know what the fuck it's gonna be like.
Yeah, and again, the thing to me is if they play this story around somewhat similar to Last of Us 2, and I get to the end and I don't get to kill the person that I want to kill, and they're gonna be like, it's a morality lesson. I'm gonna fuck you, man.
No, I really hope it's like a
edging me this whole
world.
goddamn time and then leaving.
I want a real space bounty hunter game.
Yes.
I want to
I am
live out
down.
my Cowboy Bebop fantasy. I really hope
I am down for that. I am down for that 100%. I'm just concerned about the story is all I'm saying. But other than that, I am down for what they were showing.
We need
big
details.
Laser sword. Yeah. Big laser sword, melee combat. I'm there. Let's go. Spaceship. Be great if we could even do like spaceship combat. You know me. I love spaceship combat. I get like into that shit. So yeah, I'm super curious, but I'm super hesitant because of the story. That's it.
I mean, it's the only thing they've done for like 10 years now has been Last of Us. So it's like,
yeah, Last of Us and Last of Us remasters.
yeah,
They're on their 6th Last of Us remaster, a game from fucking PlayStation 3. Jesus Christ. All right. It's time to get into the meat of the show. Elden Ring, Nightrein. What was your thoughts when you first saw that shit?
What am I looking at?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what am I looking at? What is this? That was Nameless King. That looks like a Firekeeper. What the fuck is happening? He just summoned a bird. We get a bird instead of torrent. He just Sekiro wall climbed. What is going on here?
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. I've been doing like tons and tons of research about the game. And for those of you who don't know, Elden Ring, Nightrein. I still have a tough time saying it. Nightrein.
Nightrein.
It's a strange word to say almost.
Nightrein.
To translate from Portuguese into English, because you almost think it's night rain as in it's raining at night. But no,
Well,
that's not the point. It's night rain as in Kingdom of Night.
I think there's kind of rain that comes at night. You know, the map condenses, so it's
the
not
map
that far
collapses and all of that stuff. But for people that don't know, I'm going to very quickly give you guys the broad strokes. I have a video where I go into ridiculous detail, but we're just going to give you the broad strokes, and then we're going to get into a discussion. So this is going to be, you're going to jump in. It's a session-based game. Each session lasts about 40 minutes. It is 10 to 15 minutes of daytime. It's not exactly accurate right now what the timing of the daytime is, but you go in there, you have to survive for 3 days and 3 nights, and on the final night you fight a big boss. Now the day-night cycle is during the day you are going to go and you're going to collect runes. There's going to be 3-player co-op, and everybody that kills anything shares the runes.
And you can play solo.
You can play solo as well. Yes, the game is soloable, but you can't play in duos.
Yeah, it's solo or
3 players, and there is matchmaking. But you go in there, and during the daytime, you're collecting runes, collecting loot, and then there's a battle royale-like circle that keeps diminishing, which is going to deny you access to certain parts of the map, so you have to choose where you're going to go real fast. And then as the circle collapses to the fullest extent, it becomes nighttime, boss spawns in the middle, kill the boss, circle expands again, go get more loot, go get more EXP, circle collapses again, another boss, repeat, and then on the last night you're going to fight a boss that you've chosen.
I thought, does the circle re-expand? Because
Yes.
I thought it's like, boom, this is your day 2 circle. Boom, this is your day 3 circle.
The circle, at least from what I've read, I don't know if it was on Famitsu, but the circle expands again, and then you go back and you explore more. But the monsters don't respawn. So what the areas that you have fought in, you're going to have to go somewhere else to get the XP now, because those areas are done, because the monsters do not respawn at night. That much I know as well. Now, I think an important thing for people to understand right off the bat, this is not Elden Ring 2. This is not an Elden Ring expansion or DLC or anything like that.
Completely standalone.
And do not come in expecting Elden Ring gameplay. This is going to play very, very differently. You can expect Elden Ring combat, but like the whole approach that we go into Elden Ring is like you're going in and you go into a dungeon. You're like, okay, let me slowly and methodically go through this dungeon, kill everything, grab the loot. In this game, it's going to be more like zoom, 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 kill everything super fast, get a bunch of runes, get a bunch of loot. The loot is color-coded like Diablo, okay? That's the type of stuff that we're talking about here. And what else we got? This is going to be priced like a regular expansion, so probably around 40 bones. The director for this title is Junya Ishizaki, who is an absolute Giga Chad. Okay? I'm not sure if you're aware of this. Did you read the IGN interview?
Yeah, he's the guy that he handled a lot of the Bloodborne design fight, a lot of the Dark Souls 1 fight design.
Yeah, he did the come
He has a the come battles. He is a well-experienced industry vet in terms of Soulsborne design.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, in the IGN interview, they were like, oh, don't you think it's risky to launch a new multiplayer game after the failure of Concord and Suicide Squad? And he's like, I don't give a fuck about any of that. It's none of my fucking business. We don't look at these things. We don't care. That's pretty much what he said.
That's the right attitude.
Which was friggin' fantastic to see. And then IGN was also like trying to squeeze, hey, can we get like an easy mode? They didn't say easy mode. They were like, oh, the game's still quite challenging. Are there going to be further assists that you can toggle on? Like maybe starting a session at a higher level? And his answer was, by the way, I'm going to just straight up quote him. We don't have any such assist features or settings included. We put a lot of faith in our players regardless of their skill level. We believe that anybody can beat these games if they just go in with an open mind and a will to try. I love this, man.
He should have hit him with the get good.
Just get good.
Sorry, no press mode for you.
That definitely felt like what he was going for. It was like, oh man, can we get an easy mode? Before
IGN doesn't have any Nightrein boss footage.
The other weird thing was also that this guy was asking about the Switch 2 in this interview. I was like, what are you talking about? The Switch, is this game going to be on the Switch too? And it's like, what kind of answer do you expect from this person? Like, I did not understand. The beginning of this interview had some really dumb questions. Further down the line, I got some good info. But like the beginning of the interview, I was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? This is some crazy shit.
The Famitsu interview was very informative.
It was very, very good. Yeah, I saw that one.
IGN interview by comparison was like, I mean, you could have thrown my fucking toddler in there and gotten better details.
Probably. But so how are you feeling so far about what was announced and the stuff that we've discussed?
I'm excited. I mean, we've talked about, I was talking about doing like there's a Diablo loot mod for Elden Ring where you go through and you find loot and it has different rarity. I've been eyeing that up. I'm just like waiting on development because that sounds like a good idea. The idea of just jumping in, getting your stuff, fighting some bosses, more easily consumable. I think it'll be fun. I'd be down for it. Especially the idea of co-op, like me and two buddies that like Souls-likes, like let's jump in and see how fast we can, fuck up the Night Lord. That sounds fun to me. I'd enjoy that. I think a lot of people are like, I think as a PC player that experiments with mods on Elden Ring and Souls games a lot, I think that makes me more excited for it because this feels like FromSoft looking at some of like the coolest ideas that have been modded into their games and then running with it. Seamless co-op type thing is going on. Obviously, randomized loot is going on. These are not uncommon things in the modding scene for those games. And so it's something that, to a lesser extent, as somebody who's kind of experienced that, has me excited. The other thing is, and I've seen a lot of people complaining about this, like, oh, it looks like there's a lot of reused assets. Like, I don't mind reused assets if it means they get to spend more time focusing on the core gameplay loop and making that as polished as possible.
The reused assets thing, like, I understand the concern, but at the end of the day, this is a different experience. This is not like, oh, this is the next thing in the Elden Ring universe.
Yeah, it's
this
not
is
just
a
Elden Ring
spin-off.
2 with a bunch of copy-pasted enemies.
Yeah,
hey, here's bite-sized Elden Ring where you can jump in, play for an hour, maybe kill a boss, maybe get your ass beat, and you try again. And with the idea of infinite replayability in mind.
And there's
if they actually execute that.
One thing that is also important to bring up for people is that the character levels reset between runs. This is a session-based game, but there is a form of meta progression, the form of relics. So you're going to get like a currency called marks or something like that. And then those can be used to purchase relics as well as cosmetics and stuff for your character. As far as we are aware, there are no microtransactions. I don't know if you've seen anywhere where they talk about.
They said no micros. The marks are supposedly similar to the your bloods. What do they call it? Fucking.
Those are the
gems.
relics. Those are the relics.
Yeah.
The marks is like the
the
currency to buy the relics.
Well, yeah, but your relics are, it's basically like blood gems from Bloodborne. So you'll be able to put them on altars and, go into a subsequent run with a certain passive bonus for a character, whether it's like a strength boost or charged attack boost or something that aligns with the playstyle of the character that you are enjoying.
Yeah. The other thing is, even though it can be soloed, Gaijin was translating some stuff from the interview, and his interpretation was that it can be soloed, but they're definitely trying to push it more for 3 players. They definitely want to make sure that you understand this was designed with 3 players in mind, which is, there's stuff like you can resurrect other players, which is stuff that I don't think you could ever resurrect other players unless you like rest at a bonfire or something.
No, my guess is they'll do something similar to Monster Hunter, where it's like solo a boss has 100% health, multiplayer it has 150. So the idea is like, yes, the boss is stronger, but comparatively speaking, you have 3 people doing damage at only 1.5 times the health, and so you have your more goal, you're more I should say oriented towards conquering it in multiplayer, but a skilled solo player could certainly do it.
Yeah, I think that the thing to me is I've always wanted From Software to tackle like a co-op game. This is not exactly what I was expecting, because I wanted one that was from the beginning planned as almost like a Remnant, you know? Because Remnant, even though you can play it solo, it works really well in multiplayer. And Elden Ring, by contrast, if you go with multiplayer, like, you're going to be a little bit overpowered because a lot of the bosses don't know how to handle 2 players, and they're just going to get in there and bully the boss. So to me, I've always wanted to see what can From Software do in something that's designed for co-op,
Designed with multiplayer in mind,
yeah,
from the ground up.
And this sounds really interesting, because there's also a strategy element to it, which is like, hey, are we going to split up? Are we going to all go in together to go fight a really tough one?
Do we go together to go super fast? Do we spread the map? I mean, it looks like that one boss, the Cerberus type boss, where it split into 3 separate enemies for 3 players.
That one was like a nighttime boss, though.
Yeah.
It's not like a daytime.
Yeah, but I mean, well, the from what it looks like, I think the daytime bosses we're going to see a lot of. That's where like the more reuse stuff. We saw a Zamor Knight. We saw a horde of enemies of the I forget their name. Just your basic knight dudes that are outside, like Limgrave soldiers, essentially.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're going to see the more copy paste the stuff, and then I think the night bosses are where we're going to see some stuff like that. And I think the big surprises are going to be the Night Lords, the day 3, time to fight the big boy. That's where I think we're going to start seeing like 8 brand new bosses.
So what's the interpretation that you're taking from 8 types of boss? Because they said 8 types. I don't think they said 8
types.
Bosses. And I mean, in the rough translation that I had from Famitsu, I think they said 8 types.
I thought mine was 8 bosses. I took it to understand that there would be 8 separate lords, like night lords. So like when you get to, assuming you survive to day 3, essentially 8 final bosses to mirror the 8 playable characters. Not like mirror in the sense of like this one's a warrior, this one's a mage, but like, you have 8 playable characters, you have 8 final bosses, and then who knows how many bosses for your regular night bosses. But I took it as 8 final potential bosses you could fight.
So then we also have the other thing, which is you just brought up characters. So these are you're not going to be making your own character, which has always been a thing in Souls games.
We know 7 of them. 7 of them are confirmed.
7 already? I only had like 5 for my video, so I know about. Let me give you the ones. Wait, let me give you the ones that I know, and then you'll give me the ones that I'm missing.
Okay.
Let me just bring this up. So number 1 is the Wilder. So that's your standard armored knight.
Yeah,
longsword.
I called him Tarnished. Yeah.
Yeah. So grappling hook, longsword, all of that stuff. Then we have the Duchess. That's the one who's dressed in black. She's got the dagger. And her special thing, she's got an ultimate that lets her repeat the damage. No. She repeats the damage that was last done to an enemy. So if you do like an ultimate attack on an enemy, and then you go with Duchess and do her ultimate, the damage of that ultimate attack will just get repeated again on the enemy. So this is something that some of the journos were doing, which is like they would do the big ultimate from Birdman, and then after that, Duchess would come in and like repeat that and deal massive amounts of damage.
So Birdman.
No, wait. I'll get to the Birdman. So Birdman's Guardian, and he's the tanky boy. He's apparently the tankiest character. He's got the dive bomb, and the dive bomb does AoE damage and defense boost for allies, and he also has a tornado attack that works like a CC. It throws enemies up in the air. And then you got the Recluse. This is the one that I don't know exactly how it works, because the wording that I found was really weird. They say it's a frail mage, absorbs essences from enemies like bleeds and poisons, and then unleashes them in a special attack. So it's like it needs to absorb a certain amount of bleed and poison and something else, and then eventually it can do like a special attack. Then there's one character that I haven't seen, and they're talking about this is a character that can use a Spirit Ash as a companion.
Okay, that's the only one I don't know about.
Okay.
Spirit Ash companion one.
The Spirit Ash
so that's 5. The other 3, there is the it's some type of Dex character. The base of it uses a katana. We can see
that's the one that's got like the gold thing in the video, and it's pairing Sekiro style.
That gold thing is probably a later weapon it found, but in the concept art you can see a picture of it with the katana. The other one, the warrior guy with the axe.
Yes. Does a little jumping attack. Yeah.
Yeah, it does the big jumping attack, does, I'm assuming, the tombstone thing they were talking about. And then the last one is the archer.
Yeah, the archer.
Is the dedicated ranger. So
what I meant is that I don't know what the abilities are for those characters, because I was seeing
Well, I mean, I don't know that much, but I know archetypes. I was in my video, I was like, okay, we got the Birdman, we got the strength build, we got the dex build, we have the critical type build, we have the all-rounder, we clearly have a caster, we have an archer, and then we have one that I didn't know, which would be the spirit ash one that people.
Yeah, that one doesn't show up in the video at all. So yeah, we don't know.
And
apparently it just has
no concept art.
It just has one spirit ash, which is a little buddy that hangs out with him, and that's the only character that can use spirit ashes. No other character can use spirit ashes. That's not a mechanic in this game.
A summoner, essentially.
Yeah, he's kind of like a summoner. You're gonna have that dude to help him out. But another very important thing is that the combat is going to be incredibly more fast-paced. You can see the characters running at break, like they're running faster than we're going on torrent almost.
Well, it's like Sekiro speed. Yeah, you're hauling ass constantly.
There is
that rezzing is done through damaging your teammates.
Yeah, just smack him. I mean, it's convenient. You're in the middle of a boss fight, you're attacking the boss, and you're resurrecting people if they're down. Yeah. It's just like super convenient. They were saying that a way that they've used to resurrect was even with the dive bomb from the Guardian. So they're like dive bomb on top of the other guy, and they would get resurrected. The other thing is also, besides faster movement, there's no fall damage. So you can like jump off a high cliff.
It's already the best FromSoft game now. There's no gravity.
There's no fall damage.
That's my only real enemy in FromSoft games.
There's no fall damage. You can run up walls, which that was really interesting to see in Elden Ring. We've never seen that one. There's Spectral Hawk Traversal. That is fixed points. So it's not like, oh, I want to glide now. No, there's a fixed point, and then you
go from the middle to the top of the map, start exploring the top of the map. Yeah.
Something like that to very quickly go to the stuff. Leveling is streamlined, so you're not like putting in stats. And again, this one is a little bit confusing. I'm not sure if I have all the right information, but it seems like characters level up as templates. So Duchess...
So strength build is going to get more strength, defense, and health. Duchess is going to get more critical power,
Yeah, stuff like
Makes
that.
Sense.
So that appears to be, because, you don't want to be like, do I want to put in some more strength in the circle closing? And you're like, I really need to consider if I need some more endurance in this build right now. They want to streamline that so that people are making faster decisions. I already said that the looter color, the looter is going to be color, the loot is going to be color coded. The weapons are going to have exaggerated weapon arts, so way more flashy, and even items. They were saying that just a regular firebomb is going to deal more damage, make a bigger explosion. So it's like everything's kind of exaggerated. And the other thing is, I don't know if the concept of weight is still going to be there. I hope not, because you're going to be able to supposedly equip 3 weapons. So 3 on your main hand, 3 on your offhand, and you will get the bonuses of those weapons passively. So one of the things that the directors was saying is that even if you don't want to use a bow, you might want to equip this bow because of the effect that this bow has for your other abilities. So yeah, that's gonna be...
I would be very surprised if encumbrance stays in, given that.
Yeah, because they want like a big zoom fast game. Here we go. So that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, it's a brand new experience. People need to understand that they need to go into this with the idea that this is a brand new experience. This is not Elden Ring. I think that a lot of people are going to go in expecting like DLC or something like that.
Big adventure.
Yeah, like this is why I even started my video by saying this is not Elden Ring 2. Like at the very beginning of the video, this is not Elden Ring 2. This is not Elden Ring DLC.
I straight up titled mine like this is Souls-like as a roguelike. This is a roguelike. This is not,
It's a roguelike.
I think the PC players that embrace modding, I think, are going to be like, oh yeah, this sounds fucking dope. We've done this. The console players that have only ever, done fucking vanilla, they're going to be like, this is different. I've never done anything other than missionary Elden Ring before. I don't know about this. Elden Ring. What is this reverse cowgirl thing they're talking about?
Reverse, that's the fantastic title. Elden Ring Reverse Cowgirl.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh man, no.
I mean,
but
I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. My only real concern right now is the fact that the network test potentially overlaps with
yeah,
with
dude.
Wilds.
Overlapping
That
with
would-
Wilds, man. You guys are being real evil over there at From Software.
Let's hope it's like the second week of February. That would be good.
The second week of February? I'd rather it have the day one of February.
First, well, sure, yeah,
First of
just
February.
not like right on top of Wilds. A good couple weeks before it would be nice. Speaking of dates, we didn't even talk about obviously we had the first Berserker trailer, but I can't believe AI Limit is releasing the same day as first Berserker.
They didn't even put that in the website that I was looking at. Yeah.
Well, so for those that aren't aware,
Kazan. Yeah.
Yeah, first Berserker is on, and then AI Limit, both Souls-likes, both anime styled. First Berserker, much more of a Neo vibe. I would say personally, I'm more excited for that. But AI Limit, bit of like a Code Vein vibe, but more polished. Definitely leans heavier into Souls than like action abilities like we had in Code Vein. But both were fun to play from the demos that were available. And unfortunately, both are releasing on March 27th, which means, as soon as I get out of not seeing my family because I'm monster huntering it up for a month straight, and they're like, well, kids, Daddy's got 2 Souls-likes.
You're not going to see Daddy for another 2 months now. Bye.
They're standing outside of the office. Play, Father, play.
Dad, let me play. Come play Astrobot with me. No. That's playing Souls-likes right now.
Well, I got them. I've essentially given the Switch to them. Like, they don't touch the Switch, but I have it set up with some of his favorite games. So if there's something I like really need to focus on work, I can at least like throw up a Sonic or Giga Bash or something for him. So I need your computer. I'm like, no, the fuck you don't. We will set you up on your own. You don't touch Daddy's computer.
Considering that we are going to get the network test in February, usually network tests for from software games come up like 3 to 6 months before the game releases. When do you see this bad boy?
I think it might be sooner, because I'm not thinking of this as like a fully fledged Souls experience. So I think it might still be 3 months, but I think at the latest June. But I don't think a April or May release date would be unrealistic.
That is very, very, very tight. I really was hoping for a chiller year because 2024 was like breakneck pace.
Yeah,
and now it's like, nah, bro. Again. We got Phantom Blade 0. We got friggin' First Berserker Kazan, Monster Hunter Wilds. And there's another game that we didn't even talk about that I'm actually super excited for next year. Crimson Desert.
Yeah, I've heard really good things.
I've played it. I played it at Gamescom, dude.
I think it's probably going to melt PCs. That's my big concern with that.
I don't think it'll be
the performance.
I don't think it'll be that bad. No, I don't think it'll be that bad. The way that I saw it running at Gamescom, it was running very smoothly, and I don't think they have like super computers over there at Gamescom. Maybe they had, but yeah, it was running. Fairly smoothly.
Usually those tech demos are caked up. They're like 4090, 14900 KS, like. Just for showing off your product, you're like, I want to pump this as good as it can. People are first impressions.
Yeah, but they had a lot of stations, dude. That's a big ass investment, chuck full of.
They got that gets rented, bro.
They got that Black Desert Online money though, so.
Yeah, true. We'll see. I mean, it's not uncommon to have full on rigs that are rented for the event, or they're partnered up. Like Corsair will build up 20 rigs for a press event, and then those are returned to Corsair, and Corsair gets a promotion and a certain amount of money for it. Like I've seen that at Bandai events before, where like a lot of the peripherals, everything was Logitech or everything was Corsair.
So yeah, but what I've played of it, like I'm telling you, that's going to be right up your alley as well. That game,
I'm sure it will be, yeah.
The combat.
No, yeah, 2025 is looking to be a insane year in gaming.
Absolutely, sure. Super Giga Chad. But yeah, Elden Ring, Nightrein, both of us are somewhat excited about it. The Cowboy probably even more than me because of the roguelike nature of it. I'm just curious to see what the pacing of the combat is going to be, and I've always wanted a co-op focused Elden Ring game, so. This one's
I already
got
buddies that are like when are we running? When are we doing it? I'm very, very excited for it.
Yeah, I think it'll be it, and I think it's important for From Software to kind of like explore and try new things, because this is Miyazaki basically going like, all right, I'm gonna need some of you guys to start pulling your weight out here, okay? Like I've been carrying this company in my back for way too long. No, they're trying to bring up new directors, which is something that Miyazaki's expressed multiple times. That it's like I wanna bring new people in, and I want new people to lead. So this,
well, and I think it's clear he wants to get away from just being like the Souls-like company. He wants to do other things, and I think that a lot of times the best FromSoft projects we see is when they branch away from what they've done. Like Bloodborne was a Souls-like, but very different tone and setting and play style from what we saw with Dark Souls. Sekiro, fucking peak.
Yeah, I love Sekiro. Sekiro's freaking amazing. So
when they decide to branch, that's where I think they cook the most.
I think it's important, and it was like Miyazaki was the one who was like, "Hey, how would you like to direct?" So Miyazaki approached the guy, and he was like, "Hey, how would you like to direct the next game?" And the guy goes like, I have so many good ideas. We're going to grab all this Elden Ring combat, going to turn that up to 11, and we're going to put multiplayer on it. And Miyazaki's like, I like your style. So Miyazaki was only involved in like the initial stages of concept, and then he just fully handed the reins to the Ishizaki dude. So I'm very curious to see what this guy's going to come up with. It'll be interesting. So we have another game that we got to talk about. You've been having some troubles with this game.
I haven't been having troubles with it. I just think listen, I'll say it outright. It's early access. I think there are lots of things that could improve.
That's it. That's your feedback. It's
so
like
that's what it boils down to. It's early access. There's lots of things that could improve.
So we're talking about Path of Exile 2, and to me, this is the most I've ever been grabbed by an ARPG since Diablo 2.
To me,
and it's not even close.
This is launch Diablo 3 all over again.
No.
Non-weighted loot, enemies that are taking too long to kill, a difficulty where once you get to a certain
build
point,
sucks, man. I'm sorry, bro.
No. I mean, I'm following
you
like a meta.
You were running
build.
around with your friggin' little skeleton. You had Manfred running around.
I'm sorry. My understanding of Path of Exile is play the way you want, not follow the meta build that some dude that has 1,000 hours in the game cooked up. I thought I could just have fun. I was focused on fun. I said, yeah, I'll get Manfred up there. He'll distract them. I'll throw down some grenades and shit. It'll be good. Nope. No fun time for you. Better respect that fucking tree. And I respect it. And hey, we got past the boss. Too bad. In like 3 days, GGG is going to be like, we've noticed that grenade builds are overperforming. And so we fucked them. And then I'm going to be like, well, I'm too broke.
They already nerfed gas grenades. They've already nerfed them.
Here's my thing here's my things. All right. Here are my main points of contention. One, if we are going to die and everything on the map is going to respawn and we're going to fight through it all again, at least let me get some fucking loot for killing it. Let me get some loot. Let me get more than a fucking white flask and a scroll of identify. Okay, I want loot. I'm playing an action RPG to get loot. I'm not saying it needs to jizz all over the place like Borderlands, but I would like to see some more frequent drops. I don't think that's a hard ask. Two, if boss fights are gonna take as long as they are, unless you're playing god tier meta builds, like I would say the majority of players right now, a typical boss fight is gonna probably last about 5 minutes. Now, I'm no stranger to long boss fights. I've done Final Fantasy 14 raids where there are 15-minute long fucking encounters. Those are commitments. But in an action RPG where it's like, go, when I finally get through that boss, I expect some good fucking drops. And killing a boss and getting some yellow fucking shield when I'm playing a crossbow character, and then a blue helmet and a blue flask and 50 gold, that doesn't cut it, bro. That does not cut it. The reward is not relative to the effort.
And the thing is,
let me finish.
Okay, no, keep going.
It's early access. There will be balance. There will be changes. if we're going to keep rebalancing builds and in some cases gutting certain builds, stop making players pay to fucking respect the characters. It's like if you went out and you bought a new 4K TV and everything's going great with the TV, and then suddenly Samsung said, hey, Ruri, bad news, your 4K's overperforming. So we've decided that now you only get 1080p. And you're like, do I get a refund? And they say, fuck you. And they hang up the phone. That's what's happening to a lot of players. And especially because we're early access. Anytime there's a patch that's going to gut certain builds, just give players the ability to respec. Or better yet, it's fucking early access. Just make respecs free. Make an announcement. Hey, while the game is in early access, there are free respecs on the passive tree. This will not be the case at launch, but we are testing a lot of things. We expect things to change, and we don't want to punish you for experimenting.
I actually suggested, I've talked to people, and my suggestion for that situation is that they should give players a 1 week, not 1 week, a weekly free respec for the whole tree. Because the reason why I suggested that is because that would also allow certain players to go like, oh, I think this build could work, but I'm not going to risk it because it would be way too expensive.
Well,
and
but
then
even that, why?
They'll risk it and they'll test it, and maybe that build's actually giga broken, and then they can figure it out and be like, okay, you found something really busted. Now we gotta nerf it.
All the more reason, why not just make it free? The whole point of early access, I would say, is experimentation and finding balance and fine-tuning the game.
The reason they can't make it free is because they want to see how players react to the current cost. So they want to tune the cost. That's the situation. And they're still getting more data. Because there is one thing about Path of Exile 2 that is happening right now that I think can be a problem, which is a lot of people are coming in and they're like, this needs to change and this needs to change and this is a problem. And the thing is, a lot of these things, if you tweak these things too much this early into the game, you're not going to be able to tweak them back. Because it's like, oh, you're taking away my loot now? What? You remember Anthem? When they made a mistake and it was dropping Legos all over the place, and then they're like, that was a mistake, guys. We fixed it. And people are like, what do you mean you fixed it? Nothing's dropping anymore, right? So that's going to be a problem. So they're going to start very conservative in terms of how much loot they're going to give. And then they have to make like very slow adjustments. Like, for instance, here's an example. You know the dodge roll? So the dodge roll, they've changed it.
They've slowly tweaked it. I think they tweaked it twice. They took it to where you can.
No, they've only tweaked it once. And so here's
there was a second tweak now where they did add phasing into it. I thought there was one where they reduced like your collision value to 1, so you
that one might as well. That one might as well be phasing because that's exactly the effect that it had. Because I have never been locked ever again since they did that change.
I saw a video of some dude getting zerged by enemies that were 100 times speed, and it looked like an army of zergings surrounded his ass, and he was just trying to spam roll and instead got his shit pushed in about 4 seconds.
So I haven't been, and not only that, but there's like a mechanic where if you remember that boss, the consort, she has a mechanic which has like a bone prison. You can just roll right through that. Like
that one you can, yeah. Yeah, like, no, I thought, because I remember I started attacking it and I'm like, this isn't breaking, and I just spammed roll and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to roll through that. You're supposed to break it to get out, because otherwise, what's the point?
It wasn't taking damage when I attacked it, so that shit needs to get fixed.
But like,
I mean, I don't dislike Path. Earlier you were like, I think you hate Path. I don't hate it. No, I just think it very much is early access, and I think, and like most games, I mean, like Diablo 3, I didn't thoroughly enjoy Diablo 3 until Reaper of Souls came out, and everything had a long time to cook. And I think this is not uncommon with action RPGs. I think the more time they have to cook, the better. And I'm fine with it being early access. Like even Diablo 4 at launch, I played the campaign. I didn't fucking touch it for about 2-3 years. I started replaying it just before Vessel of Hatred, and I was like, oh, they've made some good changes. And then I played through Vessel of Hatred, and then I played for a couple more nights until my Spiritborn was basically a god. And then I was like, okay, I'm at the point where I would now make a new character, but Metaphor came along. And so I started focusing on Metaphor instead. And I think it's going to be the same thing with Path. I think I'm going to dabble in it a little bit right now. I think we're going to go through our busy season with Monster Hunter and all the Souls-likes, and then I think things will slow down, it'll be like July. I'll probably look at it and I'll be like, oh, they made a lot of really nice changes. This is really fun right now. But that tends to be how my experience with action RPGs goes. I usually like another one. What is the game with all the time mechanics where you're hopping timelines?
Last Epoch.
Yeah, I played Last Epoch like 2 or 3 times in early access. Same thing. It was like, this seems really cool. I think it needs more time to cook. And then when it finally came to launch, I enjoyed it a lot, and I got like halfway through the campaign, and then once again another game came along that was like, hey, I need all your attention right now.
The thing about Path of Exile that I differ from what you're saying is that I actually really like the way that it is right now. Like, I don't want weighted loot. I want it to be hard for you to get loot. I think that's a fun part of the experience because they have the crafting system, which is now dropping way more currency than it was before. I know that when you were playing it, it was a big chunk of your time playing it was before they patched the currency. So you have like no currency to gamble to be like, oh, I want to see if I can make this into a usable item. So that was a problem, and that's been patched. But that's the idea that they have. They want you to be picking up items and like, oh, this blue item actually has a really good stat. So to give you an idea, in Act 2, one of my viewers actually was like, oh, I found this this crossbow, and it's got plus 100% physical damage, which, you know, really scales up the damage of that crossbow. Really good. And it was one of those crossbows that comes with the thing, shoots one more grenade. Like, all those crossbows come with that specific, what's it called? An implied affix or whatever. And he was like, do you want this? And I was like, yeah, sure, give it to me. So he gave me the thing, and I go in and I put another modifier on it, and it says plus 22% critical damage. I was like, not really that great, but still we have the big damage, all of that stuff.
I get what you're saying. And then you make it rare, you get another affix.
But when I made it rare, you want to know what happened? +3 to all projectile skills.
Yeah. And then you got a really good crossbow. Yeah. And I think that's
I'm still using it now in cruel difficulty. I got it in Act 2.
If the goal is to do that instead of weighted loot, I'm fine with that, with the caveat that I would like a way to re-roll affixes on existing gear.
You can, but it's random.
Yeah, no. See, I've been spoiled. I've been spoiled by Diablo. I guess I want to go in. I want to go in and be like, I want to look at my weapon. You know how like in Diablo you can go in and be like, oh, this has percentage life gain, crit boost, crit strike.
Yeah,
obviously, I want to keep my crits. All right, health. I will throw gold at health until that turns into something damage oriented. I really like that. I'm fine grinding for the resources to tweak and perfect my weapon.
But see, that's the other thing. Did you put any defensive stats on your character at all?
Passives. I had a couple defensive passives.
Okay. Because that's one thing that a lot of players are neglecting as well with Path of Exile 2, is they're not putting in anything defense-wise, and then they're just getting like splat all the goddamn time.
No, I mean,
I don't. Too hard.
I'm doing okay on my minion witch. The only times I really struggle is when there's like a big boss AoE that wipes out the minions, and then there's like that 2 to 3 second window before they come back. Before they come back, where I'm just like, no. It's like
touch me.
Running around. Yeah. Which I mean is to be expected with a minion class. A minion class without minions is just like a dickhead with a shield and a wand. So, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with crafting gear. I'd really like to actually craft. I like to customize, because like, take your crossbow for example. Nothing would upset me more if I have a crossbow that's already like +3 all skills, and I'm like, I'm rocking with this. This is my baby. This is what I'm using. And then I get a good modifier on it. And then I'm like, this last modifier is shit. I really need to re-roll that. And then I go to re-roll, and instead it takes away my +3 crossbow. So that just went from like a main weapon to vendor trash.
That's what they call bricking a weapon. So listen.
Yeah. I don't like that.
Here's what I did. I had this helmet, and it rolled with like +97 life. And I was like, oh, this is good. So I go in there and I put some other affix on it. I forget what the other affix was. And I don't think it was good. I think it was 20%.
Light radius +3.
No, I think it was 20% reduced requirements, which I didn't need. And I was like, oh, this sucks. But it still has that 90 life. So I'm going to go, okay, let me slam it. So I slam it with with the thing to make it rare. And I was like, all right. I don't remember what I got, but it was okay. I equip it, and then I'm like, guys, what if I use that Chaos Orb, though? Chaos Orb is the one that rerolls a random stat. No. I was like, what if I use that Chaos Orb, though? And chat's like, don't do it. I was like, yep. I did it, and the life goes away. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
So
see, like, and I'd be fine with that existing as a cheaper alternative. Give me a more expensive.
But listen, here's what happened afterwards. I had another Chaos Orb.
Oh, God.
And I was like, guys, I'm a man with nothing to lose. And I use it. And I get plus 97 life again. Somehow I think I actually got it at plus 98 instead of 97. So I actually got like 1 HP on the exchange.
Off of 2 Chaos Orbs, yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, it's not, like I said, it's not that I dislike it. It's just...
it's meant to be rough. That's the thing. Yeah. I think they want the game to feel rough.
I like more control in my item craft.
Yeah. I don't know. I know that there was like a crafting table in PoE 1 that I think you could like target things better. I don't know if that's something that they might bring into PoE 2 or not.
And this goes back to what I said about it might just be that, 6 months from now, there are more systems that are implemented that I would enjoy more. I will say I'm enjoying my witch more than my mercenary so far, and I don't think it was a damage thing because early on mercenary I was until you showed up and I was fighting that boss. Yeah, I was just fucking stuff up left and right.
That boss is a big wall for a lot of people, I've heard.
Well, prior to him, I was doing fine up until the end of the act. The end of the act scaled up to where I was like, I'm not killing stuff that much anymore. So my explosive shot was just killing. I mean, even before that, I was killing bosses in like 4 or 5 shots.
You know who Kriparian is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kriparian is at the end game right now, and I watched his review, and he said the hardest thing in the whole game for him was Act 2. So it's like when he's at the end game and he's like, Act 2 was the hardest thing in the whole game. And I was like, all right, that's weird. Like my Act 2 is very smooth, but that's also where I got that beast crossbow.
Your beast crossbow.
Like, yeah.
Well, and that's like my Merc's problem right now is I have a crossbow similar, but it's one of the crossbows, the base crossbows from Act 1.
Yeah.
And so
the damage is going to be lacking.
Yeah, I've rolled through 3 or 4 crossbows. I've gotten a couple that come close to it, but still, because I also have all of my quality improvements in that. So I have this one crossbow that's Act 1, and it's like if I had a late Act 2 crossbow or an early Act 3 crossbow with comparable upgrades, my damage would probably double. But everything I'm finding doesn't quite come close enough to beat out what I had. And I'm like, man, I am fucking dragging my dick through the dirt here, trying to level up and find a new crossbow.
To give you an idea, I'm likely going to go through the whole game again with that Act 2 crossbow until I get to Act 3 so that I can start rolling up a new one. Because in Cruel, you get like advanced versions of the items, so they're like more powerful. So I want to get the more powerful version of the Bombard crossbow so that I can start rolling and putting affixes on it and see what I can get. But it's
I'm still playing it. I've had a lot of people, they're like, oh, I guess you quit Path. And no, it's just, the last, I mean, literally, I did Path. We had Soulsathon on Monday. I did Path. I had one Indies night. I had the Game Awards, and then I had a Logitech holiday party. So I played Marvel Rivals. So, Path will come back on Tuesday, but, today's Sunday. And tomorrow. Are you
gonna go with Mercenary or the Witch for the next one?
Mercenary has already been the stream playthrough, so I'm going to continue with him, and I'm going to continue with the Witch on my own. At some point, the Witch might overtake the Mercenary, but, stream has been Mercenary. I'm going to stay committed to that. My bigger problem with the Mercenary, at least, was early on, at least, from a class design perspective, it felt very simple. For the most part, it was like, I throw out my stun grenades, I throw out my fire grenades. I throw out my stun grenades, I throw out my fire grenades. Whereas, like, by comparison, the Witch... Dude, the Witch. So where I'm at now, I'm like level 12 or 15. It's still really early, but I'll summon up Firewall. That'll create all my Raging Spirits. I put a curse on the enemy that's going to cause them to take damage over time, and when they die, spread to enemies. I'm going to throw out a debuff curse that's going to weaken the incoming damage. I'm going to throw out these spiky things, which raise up little minions, and then once the little minions are up, I'm going to press a different button that causes them to run in and detonate. And so there's a lot going on. Whereas with the mercenary, I felt like I was clicking 2 buttons. I was run, shoot my explosive shot, run, shoot my explosive shot. And so I think that was part of why I wasn't enjoying it as much. I was like, I'm not. This doesn't feel involved. It doesn't feel like a very involved class.
That's been my experience. I'm now shooting 3 grenades basically, which is you shoot the oil grenade to slow them down, because right now it's very hard to do anything to stop monsters from just mobbing you in Cruel. So I'm just like, the oil grenade slows them down, and then poison grenade to get them a little bit poisoned, and armor corrosion and shit like that, and then just explosive grenade all over the place until they pop. That's pretty much the way that I've been rolling.
Well, you were cracking on me for my little ballista, but did you know that ballista prevents enemy pathing?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I used that ballista. What I was cracking you on for was that ballista is not used for damage. And you were like, I'm putting my firewall, and then I shoot my little darts through the firewall. I was like, come on, man. This thing's not doing anything.
For a while, what I did with the ballista, which I liked a lot, I put the, this was before I went heavy on toxic grenade, but I put the chance to poison, and then the poison enemies lose armor. So I'd throw down the ballista, and it just passively kept the armor break bonus up for me, which was kind of nice. So I did that for a while, and then the fire thing, that was just me dicking around and trying something. So I was like, I might as well do some new stuff. So people were like, throw down the fire, and then you throw your gas grenades through it and they'll blow up. Or
that was a build that was broken. That build was actually broken. Like, so gas grenades with firewall, that's what they nerfed, because I
think I used so I picked up, so I kind of fucked up. I did I got a support thing. Yeah, okay. I got one of those spirit gems, and I was like, I already had like the wind aura, and I was like, I want something that's more damage oriented. And I was looking at raging spirits, and I was like, oh, summons up little fiery spirits, and I was like, oh, this is great. I can use my explosive shot and get a bunch of flaming skulls that will attack. But I didn't read that it was fire spell specifically, and explosive shot's a fire skill. So I spent that gem to get raging spirits, and then I was like, well, I need to use my raging spirits in some capacity, and people were like, oh, we'll get firewall will summon all the raging spirits. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, we'll do the firewall. So then I had firewall summoning up these little babies that were running along with the ballista, and Manfred, who was hanging out, and it was it was cool, because I had this little army of minions, and I'm just sitting in the back sniping shit. And then you get to the end of Act 2, and they're like, yeah, fuck you, we're not doing this anymore, make a proper build. And I was like, fuck, dude, like, they were doing fine. Like, it honestly, dude, it flipped on a dime, because like right before you showed up, I was just going through Act 2, I was crushing it with my weird little minion mercenary, and then you get to the end and they're like, all right, game's over, dickhead, make a real build. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll fucking respect. God damn.
Like, but that boss like is a wall for a lot of people I've seen. But I don't know, I've just really been having a blast with it. That's the thing. I'm super addicted, and the only reason I haven't played more is because I haven't had time, because Christmas time, social events and stuff, and it's very hard
the Witch has been a nice bedtime game. I'm really struggling with bedtime games right now, because Balatro keeps sneaking up, and then I'm also trying to play the Witch, and I really want to go back and finish Metaphor, and it's just like, but level me, and Balatro's like, or you could play some poker, and I'm like, god damn it.
Yeah, dude,
I need to try game, just get through all of them at the same time.
There's too many good games. That's the problem.
Yeah, there is. It's been nice though. Ever since I discovered Steam Big Picture, I've been doing a lot more. Just
dude, that thing's been around for so long. I'm still surprised you only discovered that this year.
So I mean, I knew about it, but I didn't know. Like, so my computer could be like asleep, and laying in bed, I'll just pick up the controller, I'll turn it on, I'll tap the button, Steam Big Picture will fire up, and then that shoots over to my screen, because I have an HDMI that runs out of the office under the door. So being like, I knew about it, but previously, if I was going to play something in my studio in the bed, I'd like, turn on the PlayStation or the game in advance. Being able to just lay in bed, pick up the controller and be like, boop, boop, and then have my PC show up on my bedroom TV, I'm like, that's big. So that has been a big increase in
gig of convenience.
Yeah, super convenience.
I have a laptop set up for my kid in big picture mode. Like that laptop we're talking about, it's set up for my kid. He's playing Wayfinder on it.
I'm not playing it, so you got to force your kid into
Yeah. No, it's a good like.
Come on, little
beginner
Ruri.
type
I
game.
need someone else to support this since Cowboy won't get on there. Spread the good word.
No, it's a good beginner type game, even though it gets like super in depth if you want to. If you play it on the lower difficulties, you can kind of like mash through a lot of stuff. So it's good for him to start learning, particularly camera movement. That's the thing that they struggle with the most, is learning how to move the camera and moving normally. So
Yeah, for one of the game Story was doing a lot of was Monster Hunter Stories. And what was cool is I could set it up. It was a bit jank, but I was able to set it up to where he was playing with the controller, but I would just grab the mouse and right click to turn the camera for him. So he just held forward, and I was like, it's okay.
Yeah, see,
got you here.
the Wayfinders lets you do that too. So he'd be like mashing buttons, and I'd use the mouse in the beginning to kind of just like, okay, we're gonna go this way now. Now we're gonna go, because the game supports both inputs at the same time.
Yeah,
So I'd be doing the same thing. It's fun times. But anyway, that's gonna be pretty much it for this episode of the Cast. What are you gonna be working on your next couple of videos?
I've been playing the Indiana Jones game, which has actually been a surprising amount of fun.
I've heard very good things about that game.
I had never even watched an Indiana Jones movie. I have since watched the first one.
Oh my god. I can't believe. Okay, listen.
I went back and watched it after playing the
Here's
game.
the most important thing about Indiana Jones movies, okay? There's only 3 of them. The first 3. The other,
I've heard
there's
that.
no more. There's no more, okay? And even the last one is not the best thing, but it's...
On the note of roguelike Souls-likes, right before the Game Awards, I actually did an indie showcase, and there is a dedicated roguelike Souls-like very similar to Slay the Spire coming out that there's a demo of right now that people could check out. It's called Rogue Blight, and it's a very soft idea of what you might experience with Nightrein. But so the idea is like you make your character and then you're climbing, you're picking where you go, Slay the Spire style. And then it's like, weapons drop. Are you going to take the dagger? Or are you going to take the sword? And so you're just like snacking up different weapons. There's like blacksmith nodes where you can level up your weapons. It has dodge rolling. It has parries. But I played it for like an hour during the indie showcase. And I was just like, this is actually really cool. So if you're struggling to come to terms with the idea of Souls as a roguelike experience, that's on Steam. There's a free demo of it. Rogue Blight, free demo. Very, very simple, obviously. It kind of has like Salt and Sanctuary-ish graphics. But conceptually, that'll give you an idea of how a roguelike Souls game could play.
All right. And with that, there's going to be links to Cowboy's channel in the description as per usual. Make sure to check it out. All of his latest content. We'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.